Okay, I'm back. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm hoping tonight to finish our tale of coming of age of the great British comedian Robert Webb. One last time, How Not to Be a Boy. It's been an interesting reading so far. I'm looking forward to finishing up and sharing my thoughts. We're having a thunderstorm here in the Portland area, so there's a bit of thunder and lightning happening in the background, hoping it won't get too intense. It's been a little intense, but nothing I can't handle. I am stronger than the storm. Okay, anyway, here we go again. Hi, modern gentlemen. Pull up a seat, hun. We're diving in and hopefully finishing up Robert's tale of woe, or I don't know. Woe, or I don't know. Ooh, okay. Storming all day. No rain, but heavy rain. No thunder, you mean? Yeah, I've already seen some lightning too. And actually, it started when I was still out. I was volunteering for the block party today, and that was exciting. It was very warm and sunny out when I went out. No wind, okay. Yeah, it was warm and sunny, but they kept talking about, oh, there's going to be a thunderstorm. And I was like, And then I started to feel it come on in my bones. I started to get kind of like the pains I get. And I noticed like my joints swelling up a little bit in certain areas. I was like, oh, Lord, it's coming. But yeah, on the way back home today, it was only like 3 o'clock. The sky started to turn dark, and I felt a couple of droplets of rain when I was out. It still wasn't pouring at that time or even really coming down, but yeah. Now it's going. Then when I got home, I watched a newer Jordan Peterson interview he did with Zena Schreck, who is the younger daughter of the Church of Satan founder, Anton LaVey, who I've followed her over the years, many years. So they had an interesting conversation talking about her upbringing, the psychology of her parents, and just like her own personal, I guess, coming to her own power, all in the name of Satan. Interesting. So hi to Nicholas Whittle. Glad you're here. And hey, Weeb Hate Crew. Good to see you. You're about to go to Portland. What are you going to do in the lovely Rose City? You're going to hit up some foodie joints. Going to see some museums. Check out some rose gardens, Japanese gardens. We have a nice Chinese garden too. I've been meaning to go there. I need someone to ask me on a date there. That's what I want. Be homeless. Do not go be homeless here. We got enough of that. You don't want to be homeless here, honey. It's not as glamorous as it looks. Trust me, we fed a lot of homeless people today. It's not that glamorous. It is not glamorous. No, Weeb Hate Crew. I do not want to go out with somebody who is striving to be a homeless bum. Come on. How are you going to pay for the trip to the garden and the tea room? Come on now. You get a place, you get yourself established, you get a job, you start living righteously, then maybe we'll talk. All right, that's enough. Ugh. I'm not 18, Weeb Hate Crew. It's not cute anymore. Pizza every night sounds awful. Okay. So this chapter that we're going to get into, I know already. I mean, I do look nice, don't I, modern gentlemen? Do you like my vintage dress? It's from the 40s, actually. It's Union American made, very nice. I'm quite fond of it. I haven't worn it in a year or so. It's a bit looser than it was before. I was noticing in the stomach area, especially. I'm like, oh, this doesn't hug me like it used to. It's not, it's not as, I don't know, suggestive as it used to be because my body is not as suggestive, I suppose. So, yeah, a little bit of like, I don't know, mixed feelings about it. I was like, maybe I should get it tailored. But if I don't know, I don't want to get it cut into at all. Maybe I'll give it a new life and give it to somebody fatter. I don't know. It's a great dress, though. I'm quite fond of it. I still got compliments on it. People were liking it. And I shaved my legs. I didn't really shave them. I use a different kind of hair removal tool, but whatever. enough about my little story. I do regret, though, being at the thing. I didn't get there earlier, the block party, because I was volunteering from 1 to 3. And honestly, I don't know why I even volunteered, because the woman who I was supposed to be relieving didn't go. And I felt awkward. She didn't talk to me and I didn't talk to her, but I had like other people coming over and talking to me. The 50s and 60s were the peak of female fashion. I do like a lot of that stuff. I love a good retro look, but I don't know. There's something hokey about women who do that constantly. But I do like the femininity. I think we're missing a lot of that. And I find that really important in my own personal self to have the pieces of, feminine undergarments like slips and, satiny things to wear to bed and, all of that. I think women, there's an art of femininity that we've lost in the modern era. Women used to take it a lot more seriously. The 1850s and 60s, oh Lord. I ain't doing all that. I can't even imagine getting dressed in some of those things. I had, on Easter, I wore this beautiful pink satin dress and it had all of these buttons up the front. Let me tell you, the buttons were not easy to do up. They really weren't. And I was really struggling with them. I was like, oh my goodness. Can you imagine? Women often had to have people assist them in getting into those clothing. Not that I would mind that so much. I mean, if the finished product is looking on point, but I don't know. Women from my class background at that time didn't look so nice. And their lives were very difficult. They aged very rapidly. I remember Susan B. Anthony said something. She was like, if I had married in my 20s, I would have spent 50 years being either a drudge or a doll. That was basically your option as a woman. You could be a doll or a drudge. And she's like, imagine if I spent the last 50 years being a drudge or a doll. Just imagine that. It was interesting. She's very hated in modern terms. I always was fascinated by her because she lived such an unconventional life and had her own just career and arc and just, I don't know, fascinating life. You know me, bit of a feminist. Don't be a drudge. Indeed, but some women don't really have a choice in the matter. Plenty of men want their wives to be drudges. They don't want to be married to a doll. They can't afford a doll, really, is what it is. So, yeah, I'm more of a doll. That's why. Well, anyway. But I couldn't be a drudge. No, I could never do that. Okay, so let's, with all of that, we have some viewers. Say hi. Shout out to Samuel, Modern Gentleman, Phantom X11, Tar Baby Yoda. Liz Taylor, Greta Garbo, Hayworth, Marilyn Monroe, Farrah Fawcett. I don't know. I wouldn't put Farrah Fawcett in the same category as those others. Christy Brinkley. She's pretty. Kathy Ireland's pretty too, but yeah, more modern versions. Few women that are feminine. What went wrong? I mean, I think what went wrong, I think the culture shifted. I think people became a lot more casual. Men become less masculine as well. Nobody spends that much time. I don't want to say nobody. There are people that do spend a lot of time on their, presentation, and they take it seriously. I mean, but there was a long time where I didn't, I was adamantly opposed to it. But men have done the same thing. I mean, how many men do you see, like, they look casual. Men and women went casual. I don't think it's so much about leftism, although that is part of it. I think in the 60s and 70s, there was in the 70s especially, there was more of a push towards casualness and androgyny. And that's just been a trend that's continued. Obviously, classic femininity never goes out of style. It's never unattractive. It's never unappealing. But as the culture has shifted, it's become rarer to see. So I think it's just like the slip in standards of our society generally as well. It's a slip in standards as well. You hear Jesse talking about it, like he's like 50 years ago, you wouldn't have seen a Black woman go out with her hair not done, for example. He mentions that, and that was just because people had higher standards for themselves. Like, you wouldn't go out in public in your pajamas. And now plenty of people feel totally comfortable going out looking like hell. But I think people had higher standards in the past. I think that's what it was. They had higher standards for themselves. It's not a straw man argument, because men's standards have slipped as well. They have. So, like, people are out here looking not their best. And for women, it's even more of a tragedy, because women can look so good, No, I wasn't saying it was men's fault. I mean, ultimately, it does come down to the individual. It comes down to the individual, how you want to go out, how you want to enter and show up into the world, and what kind of standards you want to set for yourself. I mean, it begins and ends with us. So for me, I know a few years back when I was looking at, the fact that I didn't like the way I was living. I didn't like so many things. I saw the futility of them, and I started setting higher standards for myself. That was something I took on personally. I mean, I never, though, even at my worst state, I never was the type to like not look put together, but there was still a method to my madness. It was more simplified and more like casual, I would say, but I still, cared about certain things in my style and my clothing choices. But I'm not blaming Daddy. Whatever, modern gentlemen. Y'all so bad. Anyway, y'all might really like that interview, though, with Zena Schreck, because she talks about in it, just to circle back to what I was talking about before, the Jordan Peterson interview with Zena Schreck. She talks about idiot compassion, which is very similar to, she's a Tibetan Buddhist. And so she talked about this concept of idiot compassion that is a false compassion that is expressed in the feminine. So, yeah. I thought that was interesting, and it's, I mean, we see it everywhere, like women having compassion for evil and what's wrong. I mean, I notice it in myself too. I still have to or I still catch myself, or y'all catch me, having compassion for evil. And at the end of the day, I think maybe there's a part of me that can see the beauty and the brokenness of people and always looks for the good in people. And I know that God's light shines through our brokenness sometimes, and he can use anyone to expand and to work in the world. We're merely puppets. Maybe Bubblelandia, maybe. I don't think so, though. Even poor people, though, back in the day had higher standards for themselves. I don't think so. Like, the clothing was made better, and people had higher standards. So even, like, poorer people, they may not have had much, but they, like, had a certain standard. I mean, you would have the odd hobo or something, but... Well, anyway, interesting conversation. Yoda says the women look rough as F word. Yeah, a lot of them do. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's to me now, I just see being a woman is such an honor and a privilege and a duty. And there's something so remarkable and exciting about femininity that I can't not do it. Well, let's get into Robert's tale of woe. Hi, Matthew. Yes. Well, I mean, we're getting kind of into a different thing, I think, with the poor immigrants. I mean, yeah, I had poor immigrants in my family who came over and were living like on top of one another in New York City, working in factories and whatnot in the last century. So I've got some of that stock in me. But if you look at pictures of them, they look nicer than people do now. Like when I look through old family photographs or come across things, their hair was did, They had their clothes on right. They tucked in their shirts, for God's sakes. I don't think they like to do it, Matthew. I don't think they have any. Oh my God, Yoda. And shout out to Robert Webb, who has admitted that he's into that too. Shout out to the men that do that. Yoda pretends he doesn't, but we all know that he's obsessed with it. So clearly he does. All right. This chapter is called Men Are Good at Directions. Men are good at directions. And he's quoting from the series Peep Show, which is where I first encountered the funny Robert Webb as the character Jeremy. What? So you're going to marry her out of embarrassment? Mark. There are worse reasons. Peep Show, Series 4. I'm dancing with Princess Leia in Leicester Square. I think, considering we're completely lost and I've no idea what to do next, this is all going quite well. A few hours before, Jo, the deputy stage manager, popped her head around my dressing room door. I'm playing Bertie Wooster in an adaptation of The Code of the Woosters at a West End theater. The curtain goes up in 20 minutes, and Jo usually nips in to tell me how we're selling tonight and any other bits of housekeeping. She usually finds me pacing up and down, shouting my opening lines and looking slightly ill. I say, hello, my love, what's the news? Hi, Rob, all good, nice, full Saturday night, all 3 levels open and busy. She looks through her notes with a secretive grin. Nothing else. Oh, yes. Stephen Fry's in tonight, and he's bringing a couple of guests. Stephen. And the guests are his boyfriend, Elliot, and let me see. Oh, yes, Carrie Fisher. I stare at her. Yoda, that has nothing to do with it, and you know it. And I don't believe you. Pixar, it didn't happen, Yoda. So that's just Stephen, Elliot, and Carrie. And then they want to come round after and take you to dinner. Have a good show. How exciting. Yeah. So in the book, he did have a picture with Carrie Fisher. Rest in peace, lovely Carrie Fisher. Taken in the year 2016 when literally everyone died. Ugh. And that's it, really. 1 minute you're graduating from Cambridge, and the next you're playing to a full house in the West End, which happens to include Stephen Fry's soon-to-be husband, Elliot Spencer, and Stephen Fry's pal, Carrie Fisher. Actually, I might have skipped a few years. This is 2014, so to be exact, the number of years I've skipped is 19. Anyway, a simple 19 years later, Matthew, put your peel back on. It's a great part and a great show. And oh, hi, original King Alpha. Modern Gentleman, I think, is telling a joke. He asks why don't roosters wear boxers? Oh dear. I know, Samuel. It didn't take long to devolve. Luckily, Yoda got here quickly. Thank you, Yoda. It's a great part and a great show, and I've been doing it for weeks. It ought to go well, and it does. I change quickly and peer out of the window. The route to the stage door at the Duke of York's is dimly lit, but I'd recognize Stephen Fry's silhouette from orbit. Behind him, a young man and a shorter, older woman. Bloody hell. And here they are in my room. I've met and even worked with Stephen by now, but it's still surreal to have a TV hero moving around in 3D. He gives me a burly hug and tells me what I did on stage was fucking masterful. Elliot is reserved and charming. He loves comedy and was at school when Peep Show started. I get the impression the 3D thing isn't happening to him, so I'm on my best behavior. You mustn't let them down. None of Stephen's generation let me down. Dawn French could piss in my trifle, and I'd tell her that's exactly what my trifle was missing. I love Dawn French. Shout out to Dawn French. Very funny woman. Oh, thank you, original King Alpha. I'm not even in my final form. Isn't it wonderful? That's funny, modern gentlemen. Okay, so roosters don't wear boxers because their pecker is on their face. Cute. Do roosters have lips? And here is Miss Fisher, 5'1" in dark glasses, shaking my hand and heading for the window to smoke a fag. She says she loved the show and that the 4-minute Charleston that we do at the end is the best damn curtain call I've ever seen. That's the daughter of Debbie Reynolds talking there, who may have seen a curtain call or two, so I'm fairly pleased. Yeah, Carrie Fisher. I know Debbie Reynolds died right afterward. I remember, speaking of, I'm a big Liz Taylor fan, as many of you know. Liz Taylor talking about her father, Eddie Fisher, divorced Debbie Reynolds and married Elizabeth Taylor after her second husband died, tragically in a crash. He happened to be her husband, Mike Todd's best friend. And Elizabeth, it was a big scandal at the time because Debbie Reynolds was so well loved and liked, and it just, it was a big, big thing. And then later on, Elizabeth, met Richard Burton and, started up an affair with him and then eventually married him. But I remember listening to an interview with Carrie Fisher after Elizabeth died, and she said that, she and her mother had patched things up, years later, and they remained friends even, with the, husband stealing, whatever you want to call it. And Carrie actually was the one who broke the news to Elizabeth that her father had died. And she said that Elizabeth actually wept when they were on the phone. She started crying for her, father and for her Elizabeth's ex-husband. And it was sweet. It was a sweet moment. So anyway, I don't know why I remembered that. I hope so. I mean, I'm sure you'll be able to make it happen. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I'm going to ignore y'all for a minute. Okay. Dear reader, I'm going to take a risk and draw back the curtain to show you the crazed old man with the buttons and levers. Books take ages, and the first draft of this chapter was written in the spring of 2016. At that point, Carrie Fisher was alive and well, as was Debbie Reynolds, and so were Prince, George Michael, and Victoria Wood. Whenever we lost another 80s icon, I felt sorry for those who knew and loved them, but I also have to admit to the guilty thought of an author's one-track mind. Jesus, I thought, the book is sad enough as it is. I'm just sitting here, and the book's getting sadder by the bloody week. But I'm going to leave this little story unchanged because it deserves its own innocence. Apart from being about how rubbish I am at directions, it's all about being present in the present moment. That's where we care least about what's around the corner, and quite right, too. I don't mean to bum you out, but we're all going to die. The thing is, very few of us actually believe it. Oh man, I was talking with, well, I don't even want to get into that conversation, but it was a strained conversation today. I had a few strained conversations with some awkward gentlemen today. And some nice conversations too. One man who I've told you all about before, I've liked him for a long time. He just today seems to have noticed my spider tattoo. And I don't know, we had an awkward interaction about it. I don't know that man. What am I doing? Oh, High Point Fire, Beetlejuice. Oh, Matthew, I'm sorry. Oof. You think I look nice, Yoda? Thank you. I try to always look nice for you guys. I probably look nicer today, though, than usual. I did get done up pretty nice. And this dress just, well, it speaks for itself, really. When I part my hair on the right side, I'm well behaved. And what happens when I part it on the left or down the middle? I mean, it's more, my part naturally falls there a bit more. So I think it's just more natural to me. But I like the way it looks when it's parted down the middle as well. I don't know. I feel like I look younger when it's parted down the middle. Down the middle, you're just nuts. Oh, as if, Matthew. Oh, goodness. Roosters don't have lips, but hens do. Oh, my. You like it on the right. Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks for the compliments, guys. I do my best for you, and it is a Saturday night here, and you're stuck in with me for a little while we finish this book. God willing, I'm hoping to. Okay, so let's see. I don't mean to bum you out, but we're all going to die. Okay, yeah, we've already read this. We look at pictures of people who have died and marvel at the pathos. Ah, there's Jean all smiling. She didn't know she'd be dead in 3 months. Well, maybe Jean knew and maybe she didn't. But what she didn't do was go around hoping to provide someone else with a satisfying sense of dramatic irony. Nobody lives like that, and it's odd that we do it to the dead sometimes. What I remember of Carrie Fisher was that she was beautifully, singularly alive. Carrie climbs through the window, perching on the sill and sticking her feet up on the fire escape opposite, with a 3-story drop in between. She's in London to start filming Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And I briefly wonder about Disney Lucas's films or insurance arrangements. What's going to happen to me if the tiny star disappears out of the window? I give her a light. By now I've been around enough famous people not to waste time trying to be cool. If an actor means something to you, just tell them. Ideally, don't bugger around with selfies. But by all means, say thanks if that's what you feel. I tell her I'm a massive fan of her films and books, and she rewards me with a couple of details about the new Star Wars movies that are so secret I start watching the door in case a Disney hit squad of armed woodland creatures suddenly barge in to make an arrest. Stephen has kindly booked a table at a super-duper Italian restaurant in Archer Street, where he plans to treat us all. He, Elliot, and my Jeeves co-star, the excellent Mark Heap, head off with Miss Fisher and me following. Outside, the chaps stride ahead, and I quickly lose sight of them. I'm aware that Carrie, at various stages of her life, has been addicted to more or less every harmful substance ever invented. And she isn't exactly one of those 58-year-olds who's still leaping around like a gazelle. She takes my arm. Ooh, get me squirming, Miss Fisher, around town and nattering about the theater. This is fantastic. There's just one problem. I haven't got a fucking clue where we're going. What have I been doing in London these last 19 years? What have I been doing in particular over the last 10, when my professional life has centered on the theaters, voiceover studios, and production offices of Soho and the West End? Why, during those years of underemployment in the 90s, didn't I just sit down with an A to Z and get some of this shit into my head? Why, more urgently, can't I find my way from St. Martin's Lane to Archer Street without 3 maps and an American? It's my sitcom flaw. What's the thing about you that you don't mind being teased about? The thing that makes your friends take the piss, but what you privately hope is endearing. Maybe you do a certain face whenever you look in the mirror. Maybe you blow the crumbs off a biscuit before dunking it in the tea. Maybe you only buy clothes in one color, which you don't even like that much. Oh my goodness, original King Alpha. Right, that's right. Real men die in the snow rather than ask for directions. Tearing up a cold snack. Never trust the ones with a part down the middle. Really? How interesting. You know, it's interesting because I read something that you can tell the difference between millennials and Gen Z because millennials part their hair to the side. So yeah, that was a big awakening for me. That's actually when I started to like attempt to part it down the middle or experiment. I was like, whoa. And then thinking about like the younger women I knew, they all parted it down the middle, but I've parted it down the side like my whole life, just because it naturally parts there. I have a bit of a cowlick here. So, Point Fire has been heavily shadow banned by the Trudeau government. Trudeau, when will your reign of terror be be ended? When will the Canadian people be free? A man with a part down the middle is like, we're bordering on, that's bordering on like serial killer. Okay, let's continue. Okay. I can't remember the name. Wait, hold on. Me, I just get lost. I get lost frequently and with distinction. I don't just get lost when walking or driving. I get lost on trains. I can go to the loo on a train and take 10 minutes to find my seat again. I haven't yet got lost on an escalator, but it's only a matter of time. I remember, I think I would, what is the name of that? There's, on the tube in London, there is a stop. I think it's called Angel. I could be wrong. But the escalators are massive. Like they're huge. It's the stop is so far beneath the earth. Yeah, that it's got these massive escalators. And we stopped there when I was there and rode them. That was kind of fun. I could definitely see feeling lost on those. Okay. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but vaguely heard someone mention that you get to it via Chinatown. So I continue to talk to Carrie while cluelessly keeping an eye out for lanterns on pointy roofs. Time is getting on. The other guys will now be waiting for us. You might think, hey, it's 2014. Just enter Italian restaurant, Archer Street, into your phone, you idiot. That, I agree, would have been the rational thing to do. It does, however, assume a reserve of level-headedness that is difficult to find when you've got Princess Leia on your arm and you're keeping General Melchett from his dinner. Carrie here, General Melchett. Highly recommend watching Blackadder. Blackadder, if you're not familiar with Blackadder, Stephen Fry is brilliant in it. And my favorite, of course, is the last one, the World War I series of Blackadder. When they're all in the trenches, it's beautifully done. I cry every time. Like, it's just incredible. And Stephen Fry's character is hilarious. Like, really, really, really. I'm not going to cry. I mean, if I think about it too hard, I might cry. It's beautiful. To me, it's one of the best tributes to the men who died in Europe in World War I in the trenches. Like, they really was a beautiful tribute that they did to those men. And I mean, World War I was horrible. It really was. It was so horrible. And this is like a comedy series, but I don't know. It's just touching. It's very touching. So anyway, so many men lost. It's horrible. And the impact it had on generations, like, it's just, I don't know. Well, anyway. Carrie hears the strain entering my voice and says tactfully, I guess we're a little lost. I say, yep, I've got absolutely no idea where we're going. Sorry, I'm really shit at this. No problem, I'll call Stephen. We're in Leicester Square and she calls Stephen and I call Mark Heap. There's a salsa band playing just outside Burger King. While we're waiting for an answer, she takes my free hand with hers and stretches away. I pull away too, and then moving back, I lift her arm beneath what she does. I lift her arm, beneath which she does an elegant twirl. We're still dancing when she gets an answer message. She yells, Stephen, you asshole, where the hell are you, you giant prick? She then lets go of my hand and pulls her shades up to squint at her phone. Oh my, she mutters with amusement. That might have been the wrong Stephen. We found them in the end. On the way, I was determined not to panic. I thought, come on, this stuff doesn't happen. I don't know if I'm ever going to meet this person again, but I do know that I am never, ever going to have Carrie Fisher all to myself on a balmy evening in the middle of London. At the end of Star Wars, Princess Leia gives Luke Skywalker a smile and a medal, but even Luke doesn't get to dance with her. Anyway, this wasn't getting lost. This was a minor navigational hiccup. To get really lost, we'll need to go back to 1998 and the 6 days I worked as a truck driver. I feel compelled just to go back for those of you who weren't here when I looked through the photos that he included in the book. I'll just pull up the photo again of him with Carrie Fisher and Stephen Fry and Stephen's husband, Elliot, I guess. Is that, or no, that's Mark Heap. I guess Stephen's not in the photograph. Carrie Fisher was quite petite compared to these men, yeah. Stephen Fry is massive too. But yeah, oh dear, but here they are in all their glory. Well, anyway, so yeah, shout out to the noble fallen. Okay. In 1998, I supposedly live in a flat in London's Kensal Green with some friends, but in fact, I spend most nights with Jenna in London's Swiss cottage. The downside is that Jenna shares a flat not only with our friend Sally Watson, but with our friend David Mitchell. David and I are 2 years into the business of creating a career in comedy, and we do so with the quiet hysteria of the chronically obscure and stonily broke. We write together, we travel together to meetings, we travel back from them. We perform fringe stuff together, we watch TV, we stop watching TV and go to the pub, we walk home from the pub, we say goodnight. He is the first vertical person I see in the morning and the last at night. We're annoying each other, and I'm not helping the situation by living in his flat without paying any rent. But the flat for which I am paying rent seems a long walk away and contains a cat that isn't house trained. Oh, God. It's not that hard to house train a cat. Ooh. They're asking for an husband. Indeed, they were for... No. Well, I will never forget the men who fought and died in World War I. Never. Horrible war, horrible. But such also transformative. I mean, society completely changed after that war. It was so devastating, but it really brought us into the modern era in a lot of ways. All that bloodshed. It really just was so much cannon fodder and bloodshed. Men, hundreds, sometimes thousands of men just falling for a few inches of land. It was so senseless. It went on for years. Oh, my friend is calling me. I forgot I said I would talk to her later. Oh dear, I feel bad. She's going to have to be ignored. I'm sorry, sweetie. Aren't I terrible? Okay, let's see. Okay, so yeah. So I can either live with David or I can live with a load of piss and shit. He doesn't seem as flattered by my preference as I might have hoped. Sally's boyfriend, Richard, offers me some work. He's the warehouse manager of a company that supplies events lighting. For example, if an incredibly wealthy person is having a wedding reception and a marquee in their vulgarly enormous garden, this guy is so resentful of the wealthy. Like when I get into my final thoughts about this book, I was thinking about that earlier today. I find it incredibly off-putting about him, honestly, like his resentment towards the privileged or like people who are from the higher classes. I mean, I was thinking about, he wrote about the interaction he had with a guy, Noel, when they were when he first went to school. And I was like, Noel seemed kind of nice and was like, kidding around with him, but Noel was asking him questions about himself, where he came from, what his background was, and he didn't take any interest in Noel. He didn't take any interest in him at all. He didn't ask him about himself, where he came from, what his parents did, nothing. And I'm like, this guy was trying to get to know you and was, joking around with you, being friendly, and you took it the wrong way because he was posh, basically. You know what I mean? And then he went and got even more degenerate with like some other, people that he found that I guess weren't as, he really was prejudiced. And he just like this. He's so resentful of like people with money, while at the same time wanting to be somebody who has money. Like it's, a lot of people, I don't know. I just don't like that. And I don't, yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, so let me reread that. For example, if an incredibly wealthy person is having a wedding reception in a marquee in their vulgarly enormous garden. Okay, so it's a problem to have a big garden, apparently. Some company will have to supply all the pretty lights, lasers, and star cloths, as well as the less pretty cables and generators. And that company will need someone to deliver all the stuff on time into the right place. That driver had better know what he's doing. That's where I come in. 80 pounds a day. That's the stupendous and irresistible offer. The twin novelties of having a break from David while giving David a break from me and actually getting paid mean there's nothing to think about. Unfortunately, the thing about decisions where there's nothing to think about is that they're usually worth at least a quick think, half a think, a thought's worth at a minimum. I have a standard driving license, which means that in 1998, I'm allowed to drive a 7.5-ton truck without a moment's tuition. Yes, that surprised me too. Outside the warehouse, Richard shows me the truck. You know those massive articulated lorries? Well, it's like that, but slightly shorter and minus the bendy bit at the front. So I guess it's about 10 meters long. Richard sees the way I've gone very still. He offers a bit of cheerful South London reassurance. Yeah, basically just think of it as a very long car, and obviously a bit wider. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you should probably have some sort of definitely driving something like that is not the same as driving a vehicle. He nods to himself, looking at it. Also quite a lot taller, obviously, so watch out for low bridges. He hands me a piece of paper with the delivery address. I can't help noticing that the last line of it says Gloucestershire. The truck is still being loaded. I'm 25, and the other company workers are my age or a bit younger. I light a cigarette because I think it will make me look like I'm still working class. After a couple of glances from the lads, I stub it out again, having quickly remembered that, when working, a defining characteristic of the working class is doing some bloody work. Indeed. I try to help them load the cam locks. What is a cam lock? It's a 2-inch thick insulated copper power cable. and needs to stretch from the pretty lights where the party happens to the noisy generator placed as far away from the party as possible. The cam locks are coiled neatly into a large loop and secured with industrial-sized cable ties. If you stood in the middle of such a loop, it would come to the middle of your shins. I suppose what I'm trying to tell you is that each coiled cam lock weighs about as much as your average fridge, assuming your fridge is where you keep all your gold bars. I tried to lift one of the coils, but unfortunately this one has been nailed to the floor. I try another, but apparently someone has nailed them all to the floor. One of the lads politely waits for me to get out of the way and then hoists the coil onto his shoulder like it's made of firmly cooked linguine. I half expect him to drop it onto a hip and stare unsmilingly back at me, doing a hula hoop. Richard introduces me to Gabe and Jono, 2 Australians who will be riding in the cab with me to somewhere in Gloucestershire. They're both about 19. Gabe is square-jawed and muscular. Jono is rounder and mixed race. A flash of liberal guilt makes me want to ask Jono if he's descended from the wise Aboriginal peoples. The wise Aboriginal peoples. Y'all been going off. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Fill me in on Terry's interest taken in this book. It's also a book about masculinity, Cheryl. It's a book where he's talking about, his experience of manhood. He's also a male feminist, so he tends to have a pretty dim view of traditional masculinity. So it's been kind of it's kind of like a psychological interest that I'm taking in the book. Plus, I like to read these kind of books, Matthew, what are you talking about? My goodness. I do like to get into men's heads. I like making men uncomfortable. Okay, back to the book. Okay. Gabe says, "All right, mate." And Jono says, "How you going, Rob?" Neither of them is big on eye contact. You don't want to make eye contact with an Australian anyway, like, honestly. That's like, spilling their pint. It's just dangerous. Okay. I reply with a hearty Lincolnshire now then, which slightly baffles them, but I think they get the general goodwill. Jono sits near the window with Gabe in the middle. I take the driver's seat for yes, I am the lorry driver. Lorry is a big truck. You all know on Female Monday, there's that woman in the opening line that's like, I like to make men uncomfortable. Let women take over. Some of us think that women are getting paid less than men. I don't wear stilettos, point fire. They don't wear, they don't have the same effect, I'm more of a ballet slipper kind of gal. So ballet slipper with some bows on it, or some ankle boots maybe with a slight heel, but I'm not one for stilettos. Just saying. Yes. A girl child ain't safe in a family full of men. You told Harpo to beat me. Oh, man. I haven't seen the new Color Purple. I just couldn't. Like, how could they make it better than the Steven Spielberg Color Purple? Y'all remember when Steven Spielberg was getting a bunch of hell? Like, he was getting so much flack for, a few years back. There were all these, like, women in Hollywood who were having a go at him for not doing any, like, female movies or, like, you know, I don't even know. Like, it was some kind of, like, fake feminist outrage. But anyway, he did The Color Purple in the 80s. So it was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's written by Alice Walker. So it's, she was a feminist, or she is a feminist. And it, like, it was a book that or a film that completely centered around women. So no, indeed, I have never wanted to do that, Yoda. Never. Nope. Yoda, I would never do something like that. Good God. I can't, like, even, like, the idea of a man wanting me to do that is so repugnant. Like, really? That is sick. Like, it's insulting, honestly. A man, like, even, like, wanting you to do that. It's insulting. Like, go be with a dude if you want that. Like, I'm not doing that for you. What do I get out of that? It's degrading, it's insulting, it's deviant as well. And it's not anything that I'm going to be doing. Ugh. Like, you're supposed to, like, no, it's wrong. There are plenty of men that will go do that for you. Like, don't ask me to do it. Ugh. I've heard that women are into it, though. Like, a friend of mine was telling me that her mutual friend really wanted to do that to her boyfriend. And I was like, why? She thinks it's hot or something. I'm like, ugh. I was just like, do you think ugh, I just can't. I don't even want to, ugh. Now I'm thinking, ugh. Yoda, why? Okay, so let's see. Jono sits near the window with Gabe in the middle. I take the driver's seat, for yes, I am the lorry driver. The Yorkie bar that Jenna gave me as a good luck gift is sticking in my right thigh. We laughed at the time, but now feels like the unwanted lipstick smudge on the cheek of a little boy. I grapple it out of my jeans and chuck it in the door slot. Here be man time. Right. Is there something unmanly about having a candy bar? Are candy bars gay? Press 1 if candy bars are gay. Press 2 if they're morally straight, if candy bars are morally straight. Press 3 if it depends on the candy bar. Okay, modern gentleman thinks they're gay. All he eats butter as a candy bar. I very rarely eat candy. Like, during certain times of the month, I will get a chocolate bar, or I'll get some chocolate just to settle myself down a bit. I crave it, A Yorkie bar. Has anyone had a Yorkie? I feel like I've had a Yorkie before. I'm not sure, though. I don't know. Let's look it up. Yorkies. Yeah, I don't like fruity candies like that. I do like chocolate. Yeah, Yorkie bar. It's like a British candy. I'm sure. I think there's a place that might sell them near me. I'll pick one up if I come across one, and we'll try it on stream. I don't think I have eaten one of these. The Yorkie bar. Yeah, it's supposed to be masculine. Look, it says "not for girls" on it. It's got a woman symbol where it's crossed out. It's supposed to be a masculine candy bar. It looks like it's just chocolate. And it's kind of shaped like Toblerone where it's in pieces, which I like that in a candy bar because, I can't really sit down and just eat a whole candy bar like that unless it's like something small. But I feel with this, it's something, okay, honeycomb. Okay, so they have different flavors. I don't know what's in the original. It looks like they have a honeycomb one with raisin and biscuit in it. I love honeycomb though in coffee, or not in coffee, in a candy bar. I had some honeycomb ice cream recently that was like so good. But I'm not big on ice cream, so it's like I feel like I saw one that has raisins in it too. Yeah, raisin and biscuit. Yeah. Chunky chunks of milk chocolate. Yeah, so it seems like the original. Okay, these things are nasty. Has anyone ever had an Aero bar? Those are disgusting. Ugh, I did not like Aero bars at all. It's made by Nestle. Now, I love Mars bars. I remember in high school, we sold Mars bars in the like vending machines in high school, and there was this Norwegian exchange student that I was kind of friendly with. I had a couple classes with him. I remember he borrowed one of my CDs and broke the case, and I'll never forget this. When he told me about it, he brought it back. He was like, "I'm sorry, but I felled your case." So instead of saying dropped your case and it broke, he said, "I felled your case and it broke." He felled it, y'all. Shout out to Adam, wherever you are, the boy who broke my CD case. But yeah, we would often talk about music and like politics. He was an anarchist, and I was a lefty at the time, so we bonded about that. He slept with one of my friends. That was a mess. Yeah, but yeah, he was eating anyway. I brought it up because he was eating a Mars bar in class once, and a bunch of like kids got around him and they're like, "What are you eating? What kind of candy bar is that?" He's like, "I got it from the vending machine." And they were like, they'd never heard of a Mars bar before. And I'm like, "Yo, we sell them here." I do like a York peppermint patty. My favorite, like if I do get like a regular candy bar, like if I go to a gas station or a convenience store and all we have is like American candy options, I'm going to go for something like a Reese's peanut butter cup or what are they called? Mounds. The one, I think it's Mounds, where they have the milk chocolate and then there's coconut and then the almond in it. Those are good. I'm not sure if it's Mounds or it's one of the two. Almond Joy. Yeah, sorry, Almond Joy. Mounds is the one without the almond in it. And then But usually, they do have better chocolate, at least at my local convenience stores. So I can get like a Ritter bar. I really like the Ritter bar with the cornflakes in it, or one with like hazelnuts. And sometimes they have like specialty ones with different fillings. So sometimes I'll get one of the seasonal ones. I also like the Cadbury milk bars. So, my friend Christiana in high school, she was German and she loved the Cadbury milk chocolate with the fruit and nut in it. But I don't really go for that anymore. And then there's like I have a lot of options for chocolate. So when I'm feeling like, oh yeah, I used to love caramellos. Those were amazing when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I liked caramellos. I liked Rolos. What else did I like? Whatchamacallits. I couldn't eat a whatchamacallit now. Yeah, Twix. I had a little mini Twix recently, like one of the little fun size candies, because in my building there's a candy dish, and on Fridays usually they put like chocolate in it. So I went into that a couple Fridays ago and saw a Twix, and it was all right. But yeah, I loved them as a kid, Twix and Kit Kats. But yeah, now most of them I just can't get into. Snickers are good. Snickers was my grandma's favorite candy bar. She used to put them in the freezer too. She would put the Snickers in the freezer. I did not steal the candy, Samuel. They're left out for people who live in the building and our guests. And I only took one piece. I could have taken more pieces of chocolate, but I only took one little piece. It is pretty gay to eat candy bars. And hello to the Christian Carpenter. My dad's favorite candy bar was Milky Ways. I also like what's that one? I loved Babe Ruth's as a kid because it was just like milk chocolate, peanut, and caramel. Yo, so good. Crunch bars, yeah. Also that like cookies and cream bar that Hershey's does. I love that one too. But yeah, most of these now I can't even eat. Like when I think about like even trying to eat them, I'm like, ugh. Crispy bars. Yeah, crispy bars were good. This is so gay. We should stop talking about it. It's so gay to eat candy bars. Robert and his gay Yorkie bar. Right, 3 pedals all in the usual place. Super. Here's a manual gear stick with most of the numbers still on. Good. This, of course, is a steering wheel. Check. So that's where's the effing handbrake? Oh, I see. The handbrake is this plunger that comes out from the dashboard, and the lights, indicators, and windscreen wipers all seem to be operated from stalks coming out of the steering column with no discernible markings. F me, it's the TARDIS. But the boys are waiting, so I almost shout, righto then, off we jolly well go. I'm nervous. I'm veering wildly between Paul Webb and Gussie Finknottle. Paul Webb being his father. I don't know who Gussie Finknottle is. I drove carefully out of the warehouse car park and turned left onto Wood Lane. Of course, that involves using the brakes. When you're driving something heavy enough to crush a Sherman tank, you need some quite fierce brakes. Jono and Gabe are amiably bantering about how the truck is obviously overloaded and definitely illegal. What I was used to with Chesney was sticking my foot down hard and waiting for Chesney to get the idea that I wanted it to slow down. You can drive in an absolute safety like this as long as you don't have to go down hills or around corners. The truck, however, is fitted with air brakes. That means the moment your right foot even starts to think about hovering over the middle pedal, the effect is one of slamming head-on into a mountain. Sorry, lads, I say as the 3 of us bounce around the cab like ping-pong balls in a prize draw. No worries, says Gabe, expressionless and looking straight ahead. Air brakes, total killer. Has anyone here driven a car, like a truck like this, a lorry, a big like 7.5 ton truck. Do we have anybody in the house who can operate one of these vehicles? Mr. Good, Dystopian Deep Dives with the Mr. Goodbar. Yes, Mr. Goodbar. I imagine it would be dramatic, though, if you didn't know how to a semi truck. Yeah, you're right, semi. It's called a semi. A box truck, but nothing larger. Yeah, I've never driven one of these. I don't know. I've only driven like a regular truck, and I hated that. The clutch on my dad's truck, man, that thing sucked. Anyway. I've consulted an ancient road map, and I'm pretty sure that the next thing that happens is that I turn right onto the A40. At this time, sat-nav technology is something that only people with tin hats in every back issue of Conspiracy Tomorrow talk about. Okie dokie, I say with petrified jauntiness as we approach the junction with the Westway. I stop at the lights. I can just make out BBC Television Centre in the distance, a building in which I'm yet to set foot. What the F am I doing here? Why doesn't someone just put me on the telly? The lights turn green. I stall. I start the engine and we lurch forward and stall again. I reach for a handbrake that isn't there. Cars behind start beeping. Gabe and Jono are instantly livid on my behalf. Gabe shouts F off to no one in particular. Jono winds his window down and sticks his head out. F off, he's doing the best he can. I'm getting a bit tired of swearing. That's one thing about the British and the Australians. They swear. Like, they swear up a storm. Ugh. Matthew, not everyone can be as manly as you, I suppose. I get the truck started again and commit to the turn just as the lights go red. The trick here, I think, as I keep a grip on the steering wheel despite all the sweat, is to go forward and then turn at the last moment. It's the right idea, but I do it half-heartedly and too early. Looking in my wing mirror, I can see that on the present trajectory I'm going to take out 2 sets of traffic lights. The truck stalls again. Think I should reverse and try that again, I say, peering at the gear stick and looking for an R. Gabe is quietly putting his seatbelt on. He says, I don't know if reversing would be altogether wise in this situation, mate. I say, quite right, and put the truck into first and stall. I'm now blocking 3, possibly 4 lanes of traffic. The cacophony of beeps and horns has left Jono quite beside himself, and he's now having an actual argument out of the window with another driver. It's his first day. Of course he doesn't know what the F he's doing. Oh, yeah? Well, you come and try if you're such an effing genius, you prick. Yep, there we go. Australians making a situation worse than it needs to be. Where is Maina? Maina, where are you? I'm here disparaging your people. Gabe has correctly surmised that the time for respectful silence has passed and that my male pride could now stand some guidance. He says to me, just go straight and then give it a hard right turn when I say so. I could kiss him. Gratefully, I do exactly as he says, moving the truck straight at the concrete wall of the far left of the road we're turning in onto. Now he says, and I turn the wheel hard to the right as far as it will go. As we turn, Jono's side is going to come mightily close to that wall. He reaches out to retract his wing mirror, but it's not that kind of wing mirror. I look out of my own and see I've missed the traffic lights by centimeters, but we're mounting the curb of the central reservation and crushing a bollard. I don't know what a bollard is. Jono winds his window up to avoid the sparks now flying up as his wing mirror makes slow motion contact with the wall. You're doing effing great, Bob, he says. Gabe is smiling too. We clear the wall and straighten up. The beeping stops. I have successfully made a right turn. I only caused a medium-sized tailback and destroyed 1 piece of road furniture. Jono says, now we're cooking with gas, and turns on the radio. I love these guys. Yeah, I bet they're having fun. Australians love when things are crazy. I got better at driving the lorry, but no better at driving it in the right direction. In all, during my lorry driving career, I took it out 6 times and got lost 12 times, at least on that first trip to Gloucester and back. I had Gabe and Jono to navigate. More usually, I was on my own, getting lost in Plymouth, getting lost trying to find Spitalfields Market, and on one night, randomly ending up in Cambridge and having to perform a 23-point turn in the car park of Queen's College. That first night, coming back from Gloucestershire, the bastard thing even broke down. The 3 of us spent the night in the cab. Every time I was close to the impossible destination of sleep, Jonna would suddenly remember how annoyed he was and randomly yell, "I am so effing cranky about this." Wow. Mina is doing the haka. Yeah, she thinks this book is gay. Ooh. What's up, baby? What's up, baby? Are you being you? Hey, hey, hey. Hey, baby. What's wrong with you? What's wrong? You're so pretty. You're so pretty, boy. So pretty, boy. You pretty kitty. Pretty kitty. Oh, look at that ears. Look at them little purrs. You like when you get petted like that. You like when I pet the ears like that. Yeah, that feel good. What about this? That feel good? Right there. Right there. Oh, you're so good. When you get scratched behind the ear. Oh, yeah. And then under the chin. Oh, yeah, that's so good. And then on top of the head. Yes. Yeah. Oh, get some more under that chin. Yeah. Oh. No, Point Fire, I will not do anything of the sort. I don't even really know it. I've only seen like little clips of it. I haven't even watched that series, honestly. Oh, I've gotten another text message. Hello. Oh, no, by all means, knock everything over, knock the lights over, step on the book. Come on. Yeah, you got it. Get in my lap. Come on. Oh, no. Oh, no. No. Oh, no, Nero, you don't put your butt on camera like that. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry, you guys. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry you had to see that. That was indecent. He put it square in front of the camera. I am so sorry. Oh, God. And he knocked over my light. Oh, that's rude. You shouldn't have done that. That was rude. You shouldn't have knocked it. No, don't you get fussy with me. He's being fussy now. I know it's been a long time since he showed anyone his butthole. Okay. Oh, even that word. I'm sorry. It's nasty. Why did they do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Nobody wanted to see that. You got a tomcat because of toucan? Yeah, your life is about to improve dramatically. Oh, well, at least you all are being good spirited about it. I don't appreciate though when he puts his butt out like that. I mean, this channel is not trying to be, R-rated. You kissing on me, you kissing on me. What are you doing with your butt like that? That wasn't polite. That was indecent. Were you being indecent? Okay. It's only called male pride when it's being challenged. The rest of the time, it's just pride. I'm not indifferent to taking pleasure in traditional areas of male competence on the rare occasion that I show any. As part of the writing process for the Footlights Tour show, the club used to splash out on a writing week in the Holiday Cottage in Backton near Great Yarmouth. One of the best things about the place was a real fire at the front room, and Eddie and I quickly set to work lighting it. We had both watched our fathers do it in exactly the same way, a clean grate, of course, then a layer of tightly scrunched newspaper on top, of which he placed a lattice of chopped sticks, and then just a few initial lumps of coal. The two of us worked in a reverie of contented silence. We were definitely enacting some kind of rite. I used to collect coal sometimes. We would burn that when we lived in the cabin in Homer when I was a little girl. A lot of natural coal would just like wash up on the beach. And so like I you know, I would grab it and like bring it to my dad and he'd be delighted, and then we would burn it in our little stove in that place. The next couple of places we lived didn't have stoves, but then when we finally moved into what I would say our permanent home that we had in Anchorage, we had a really nice wood stove, but we never burnt coal in that one. It was always wood. Oh, I'm glad. And so he's, yeah, I'm sure Freddie shapeshifted into a cat to infiltrate your home. Yeah, coal will wash up on beaches. Yeah, in certain areas, depending. Let me see if I can find photos of what it looks like. Oh, yeah, here, beach coal. I mean, I was a rock collector. I started collecting rocks really early on in my life. So I would always be, I loved going to the beach, and we lived near the Homer Spit. My dad would take me there. So I got to find all kinds of rocks, but yeah, I would sometimes find coal. So here we go. We have Coal Point, Homer Spit. Here we go, the Homer Spit. So this is where when I was a little thing, my first memories were on this spit. Going and playing on the beach. But yeah, here's more coal. I mean, a lot of, even you'll have like coal just naturally out there. It's not always buried. Here's some exposed coal on a cliff at your local beach. So yeah, it can be exposed like that, and on the beach it'll erode and like wash up. Here we go. So yeah, this is kind of more, you look for those really dark rocks. Raw beach coal. Here we go. Yeah. Lovely coal. Oh, wow. This is a nice image of it. Over 2,000 tons of coal spilled onto a beach in Aceh, Indonesia. Wow. Well, that's spilt. That's a little bit different if it's spilt. Here we go. Here's some more pieces of it. So yeah, I was an early little rock hunter. My dad also took me like gold panning when we would go camping when I was little. We had these gold pans, and he taught me how to go into the creek and just play around and find things. So I would often find little gemstones. I don't think I ever really found any gold. I mean, there would be gold dust, but I found like iron pyrite, pieces, and lots of garnets. Garnets are really common in some of the creeks, and other like pieces of quartz. Rose quartz is pretty common. Anyway, I'm glad to hear though that you've started feeding a tomcat, Yoda, and it sounds like and yeah, toucan. I'm glad to hear that toucan kind of inspired you. Them tomcats they make the best cats because they're not only are they cats, so they're just fun being cats, but like they really do. They keep other animals off your property. They keep the varmint down, and they are very much like guardians of the space. Any arrowheads? I don't think no. I never found any arrowheads. I mean, we would buy them sometimes. There was this place in Anchorage called what was it called? I think Black Elk Leather. We would go there to buy supplies for my dad's dream catchers, and he would buy like stone arrowheads there to sometimes put on the dream catchers. He liked to do. He made his with leather, and then he would put things like feathers and fur and stones, things like that. Salmon or chicken every morning with milk. Dang, he living that good life. You're digging for gold right now. Ew, yuck. Yuck. Bigfoot's discuss Terri sightings. That's right, Yoda. It's fun to think maybe we're long lost cousins somewhere down the line. I didn't find any either. Indians might be fake. They might be. Now you'll find beer bottles and used syringes. That's the spirit, Matthew. I mean, I did find broken glass sometimes. Definitely. I remember one of my Terri, I believe Terris are out there. I've definitely heard Bigfoot. I've never seen a Bigfoot, but I've heard them. Have you all ever like gone and listened to Bigfoot noises? Oh, your cousin's good at beadwork. Oh, I love beadwork. It's so gorgeous. I never got into doing that. I think now my hands couldn't like even try to do that, but I do really admire it. It's beautiful. I love like beaded earrings. I have a couple of nice pairs. Well, anyway, we'll get back. But yeah, I love just beadwork on like leather, especially too. So gorgeous. Oh my God. I'm not CGI. I'm a real girl, Matthew. I'm a real woman. The white man. White man was here. You've heard and seen some weird stuff in the woods. Yeah, I mean, I've just heard the like hooting and the like howls. I don't know how else to describe it, and the knocking. But I think Bigfoot are interdimensional beings. I don't think they're like animals. Yeah, that's weird. It's amazing when people will be half white, and then like, how are you going to be half white and like completely? That's true. When I lived in Palmer, or when I lived in, I didn't technically live in Palmer. I lived in the Butte area, which is like rural. When I was in kindergarten, we settled there because we had to move from home, or my dad needed to get some. He had to. Well, I mean, my dad was morbidly obese at the time, so he We had to move closer to the city because he was getting like doctor. You have land in the Montana with the Cree? Really? Yeah, my family are we there's a nation that was formed, and our family kind of has connection to it. It was the Chippewa Cree, which were like I don't know, a diasporic nation that was formed of like displaced Chippewa and Cree people. Yeah, that's crazy. So you're Chippewa Cree too? What if Yoda is one of my long lost cousins? Okay. Yeah, I don't think I have Cree, but the nation you hear them banging sticks together to scare off women. I'm gonna be a big fight if my bills go up much more. Oh dear. No, I'm mostly Irish. I'm not fronting Matthew, but I'm not only Irish. I do have other things going on. Louise Reel is my great great cuz. Hmm. Shout out to the rest. Interesting. Irish cancels everything else out. I do think that, yeah, Irish does become dominant because even on my mother's side, like on my dad's side and on my mother's side, Irish, I was just, both are completely ingrained in Irish culture. Like they're not at all, they don't have any connection to any other culture, but the Irish stay strong, you know? It's interesting how that works. Irish is dominant. What is it about us? What is it about that Irish excellence that's just so domineering? It's the pure blood. Irish Druids will overcome. I don't know about that. I've got some texts I should probably respond to. Oh God. Um, hmm, I'm thinking I'll get. Okay, 1:30. Okay, let's see. Oh no. Okay. Yoda, you've got a monkey in your family tree? Hmm? You've got a Freddy in your family tree. I remember, no, it sounds like you do. Yoda's Yoda. You were picking on Freddy. You were like, there ain't no Freddys in my family tree. When that song got played, I saw you in the chat. But it sounds like there is one, isn't there? Hmm. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I think it's hard. Ugh. Text from a man, y'all. You have Moorish blood. Oh my goodness. I agree with that, Yoda. Well, I mean, Europeans made it to the North Americas as well, and we're here before people think that we were. So it's just kind of, it's amazing to me. But yes, text from a man. It's, he was someone I talked about on stream a little bit. I was seeing him in winter time. And then I kind of I told y'all about the double date we went on where I was like, nah, but he still texts me, and he was at the event I was at today. And he was like, it was nice seeing you today. I always enjoy when I get to spend time with you. And then there was a little angel emoji. And I'm just kind of like, okay, how do I respond to this? Yeah, it's hard. I don't know. He does have his sweet side, of course, but I don't know. And there's I don't know, but there's another woman that was there that he was kind of with as well. I don't know what the situation is. I know he does, but I don't know. I think I probably also have devastated him to a certain degree with my level of, I don't know, bluntness, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to respond to him in the best way. It does challenge me sometimes. I'm like, no, I don't. Fred doesn't have my number. You had a woman ask you out, Matthew? Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, who is that? That is bold. I can't do that. I just can't do that. It doesn't feel right. I don't how do you just ask a man out? I think I did it once. I think I did. Okay, I did it once in middle school, and I learned my lesson. Don't ever do that. Oh, I don't like when people drunk call you. Oh. He's keeping me for a backup. I think, yeah, perhaps. I think perhaps. I don't know. I'm not it is important to get along. That whole thing was I don't know, it made me feel awkward too, because I didn't I just was refreshed by his boldness in asking me out, the way he kind of approached me. I was like, oh, okay, let's give this guy a try. He's very, forthcoming. And I appreciate that, because a lot of the time it's guys aren't that forthcoming and hey, so can I take you out sometime? Usually it's just a bunch of awkwardness and weirdness and beating around the bush and that kind of thing. So I was refreshed by it, but I don't think we're well suited to each other, but he does have nice qualities, and I don't know, but I think, yeah. I don't think it's just not right. It's just not right. That's true, Matthew. Exactly. That's how I feel about it too. Or they're I don't know. It's not always that. I think a lot of them are just, I don't know how to put it. I tend to, I attract special people sometimes. Yoda, stop gossiping. Oh my goodness. I hope to God she didn't. I mean, come on. It's a blessing in disguise for her. But I don't know what the situation is. We don't know. So let's not pretend we do. you know, the yeah, just gifted people, let's just say. Like, I don't know, the full spectrum. I love an autistic king. I do. But hi, Tomas. How are you? Please, Terry, please abstain. Abstain from what, my dear? What am I to abstain from? I do that too, modern gentlemen. That too. I mean, I'm a bit, commenting on extracurriculars. Commenting on extracurriculars. The bed bugs in his dreadlocks. My God. My God. Yoda. Let's get back to the book, shall we? I don't know that I'm going to get through it tonight now that I'm kind of looking at it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be reading for another 40 pages tonight. I don't think that's happening. We'll get through this chapter. Okay. A similarly happy man-based memory comes from Le Touquet in France. From Le Touquet in France. It was 1999 and the first time we'd all got just about enough money to have a holiday. Le Touquet was just a stopover on the way south for a week in a villa. As it happened, Jenna and the other woman opted for an early night, leaving me, David, Jack, and two other friends, Tom and Ellis, to go to a pool bar. There's something to be said for exclusively male company from time to time. That might strike you as ridiculous if you are or are close to a man who prefers male-only company all the time. But for me, playing pool and having a pint in a friendly bar with just the boys was fairly novel. We were a mixed bunch anyway, but I'd been relying heavily on Jenna and Clara before her to be basically all my friends at once. It's quite a bad idea. In the bar, the five of us didn't suddenly fall into a chauvinistic orgy of braggadocious machismo, but neither did we get more than usually pissed. It was just five blokes enjoying each other's company. What I really liked was that we were all playing pool as skillfully as possible while not giving the slightest F about winning. How come I've had enough money to go on holiday? It's a two-word answer, Michelle Milburn. Two things happened in May 1997. Britain elected its first Labour government in 18 years, and I got an agent. Tony Blair was, of course, extremely popular at this time, as absolutely nobody likes to be reminded. New agent, new Britain. Oh, Nada doesn't usually attend my streams. I don't think he likes my energy. Oh, that's awesome, Matthew. Shout out to the friends you don't need to talk to. There's this chapter in the next one, Dystopian Deep Dives. Before then, for the 2 years after leaving college, I'd lived on super noodles and toast. I tried to avoid opening letters or answering the phone in case it was the landlord, the bank, or the DSS. I was claiming housing benefit and taking whatever part-time work turned up. I worked as an usher in a theater. I drove a lorry. I worked in a photo library for a magazine about buildings. That's Buildings Magazine. Jenna had a credit card and would occasionally bail me out. I tried to get my own credit card, but was refused. It was a co-op offering a card to labor members that turned me down. I must say that I thought that took the biscuit. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. He's texted me back. Ugh. Mm. Yes, America can be very exhausting, isn't it? Oh my god, I don't think that's going to happen. I think in the last chapter, he kind of realized that he wasn't really cut out to be gay. When he went to the nudist beach. Their credit report I subsequently ordered made for interesting reading. Fed up with gang mastering, Dad had opened a fruit and veg shop in the middle of Woodhall. For some reason, he needed me to sign a few papers to get it started, but assured me that it wouldn't affect me in the slightest way. I vaguely understood I was going to be some kind of sleeping partner in the business. It seemed a painless way of doing him a favor, and I'm quite sure he believed what he said. After all, no one starts a business thinking it's going to end in a bankruptcy, even though in this case, that's obviously what happened almost immediately. Oh, his father used his credit to open up a shop and it failed. Yeah, I imagine being in DC is very stressful. I don't know. I watched Dylan Burn. I watched Hake on the Dylan Burns. I don't know. He has some kind of debate last night or yesterday afternoon. I watched that. But apart from that, I don't like Dylan Burns much. I find him rather grating. Two reasons I don't trust anyone. One, I don't know them. Two, I know them. Oh, Matthew. Oh, Matthew, my dear. Oh. Okay. It was an excellent shop, but a financial failure for two reasons. One was that Dad would undercharge his friends or insist on giving away stuff for nothing. Since he was on first name terms with about 80% of the village, that was quite a lot of apples. Second, what profit he did make, he immediately spent in the pub, a fine example of a small businessman supporting the local economy. Sadly, the shop went bust and my credit rating fell through the floor. Yeah, I've heard this too with Jesse has mentioned it, but he mentioned mothers using their kids' credit to get cell phones and then destroying their kids' credit before they're even adults. So they enter their adult life with bad credit, with credit that's been totally tanked. He did a very good job on the I think he did a very good job, Yoda, on the debate. I didn't know Dylan was gay. Is he gay or queer identified in some way? I didn't know. I mean, it's not really, anyway, it's not my business anyway. Not like I would ever. Yep, Tomas, do not dox yourself like that. I saw you in the chat recently. Yes, no. I'm not ready for death. Tomas. So it was with a shaking hand that I held the letter that Michelle Milburn had sent to the Etc. Theater in Camden in 1997. Eddie had come up with the idea of doing a school's tour of a play that was on the A-level syllabus. He found a translation of Moliere's The Miser and cast me in the title role with himself, David, and Collie, Olivia Colman. Shout out to Olivia Colman. I'm not making up stories, Matthew. I saw you somewhere. I don't remember who it was. But I remember that I hadn't seen you in a while. I will say I hadn't seen you for a while before that. Oh, Matthew, please. Nobody else is like you, Matthew. That is not it. So yeah, Olivia Colman, she's gained a great deal of fame for herself, but yeah, she's worked very closely with them and been in a lot of their projects, including Peep Show. Her starring as Sophie in Peep Show, and now she's gotten pretty famous because she's done The Crown. She played Queen Elizabeth in that, and then she's gotten some, films out of it. I think she did another I think she played Queen Anne in something as well. I don't know. I haven't seen that film. But yeah, she's gotten a lot of notoriety in the past few years. Okay. Together with Tom and Charles, a sort of upmarket Gabe and Jono, who had organized Spotlights tours and were also brilliant lighting and sound technicians, we became the Juggling Fiends Theater Company. The plan was simple. What you did was you wrote to lots of private schools that you suspected of having more money than sense. You used headed note paper and kept mentioning Cambridge University. Charles worked out a budget that would not only allow us all to get weekly wages, money for acting, but would leave enough cash to fund a 4-week run in a small London theater. Dear Robert, I'm sure you already have representation, but in case you're still looking, Michelle was an agent at Amanda Howard Associates, and Amanda didn't want me. They came to see me and David doing our first 2-man show in Edinburgh, and Amanda didn't want David either, but she reluctantly allowed Michelle to take us both on. Michelle got us a string of meetings with producers, and the part-time jobs started to fall away as we slowly began to earn a living as comedy writers. I started to open up letters and answer the telephone. I even got a credit card. By 2002, I was nearly 30 and living with Jenna in a tiny flat in Belsize Park. David and I were writing for other people's shows and even had been in a sketch show for BBC Two called Bruiser. I have watched Bruiser. It was funny. During a failed attempt to make a team-written sitcom, we'd met and really liked another pair of writers called Sam Bain and Jesse Armstrong. They got in touch to say that a producer called Andrew O'Connor had come to them with an idea for a clip show where 2 flatmates watch TV and misrepresent everything, a kind of live-action Beavis and Butthead. Sam and Jesse thought it would be cool if we saw everything from the characters' points of view and sometimes heard their thoughts. The 5 of us had a meeting, and Andrew got some money from Channel 4 to make a 15-minute pilot, which would be called POV. So the plan I wrote in the diary on my 18th birthday is starting to fulfill some of its freakish ambitions. Robinson, yes. Find someone funny to work with, yes. Edinburgh Fringe, yes. The job is looking up. The life, though, I'm not really thinking about the life. The life is surely fine until somebody tells me it's not fine. That's life, isn't it? I buy a copy of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, feeling immediately very pleased with myself that I'm man enough to read a popular book about relationships. The slight downside to popular books about relationships is that all of them are wrong. Wrong because they start from the premise of difference, that men and women are so fundamentally innately, mentally, and culturally different that they might as well be considered as two different species from two different planets. If you start from there, you give yourself permission to accept every stereotype that you've ever heard about men and women. So books like the one mentioned, as well as its imitations with titles like Why Men Don't Listen and Women Can't Read Maps, and Why Women Talk and Men Walk, How to Improve Your Relationship Without Discussing It, are not... I don't talk, I walk. I am amazed at the number of women who will fight with men. I am amazed at it. I'm amazed at the number of women who will like get angry with the man and then fight with him. Because I'm like, oh my, yeah, like leave. I don't know why women waste their energy doing that. Like, all you're gonna do is like, oh, Yoda, please stop. Yes, I do think sometimes they do start it. I don't know. I've met men though that like to start fights or like wind you up. Definitely, they like get a little thrill from getting you to react. Yeah. I'm sure they do, Tomas. I know they do. But I am not, I don't like to fight. I've gotten so much flack for not fighting, honestly. Like, why won't you communicate? Nah. Like, me, oh, God. Ugh. I don't know, man. I must live on a different planet from you boys. I have not come across the men that you all seem to be. Mark should get 0 minutes. Mark should get no minutes. Mark is horrible. I don't ever want to hear from Mark. I don't, modern gentlemen. I don't. I'm not getting the thrill. I don't even want to fight with you about not liking to fight. Okay? Moving on. For example, wait, no, hold on. Okay. These books are there not to question the different expectation placed on men and women. They're there to excuse and reinforce them, usually with a truckload of hokey metaphors and dodgy-looking science. For example, in Men Are From Mars, Women Are For Venus, John Gray suggests that men and women react in different ways to stress. Women want to talk about it with close friends, while men want to go into their cave, i.e. retreat into the shed or games console. Rings a bell, surely. If the sales of his book are anything to go by, Gray has indeed rung more than 50 million bells. That's how you make serious cash at this gender lark. Make a generalization and then explain it with horse S-word theory that lets everyone off the hook. If Gray had a couple more jokes, he could be on Live at the Apollo. Men and women, eh? They're different, aren't they? Eh? Why can't men wrap presents? Come on, fellas. You know it's true. I'm not very good at wrapping presents, I have to say. I do like to get scrappy in chat. Yeah, JLP, I don't know. JLP chat can be exhausting. I get exhausted though sometimes by it. I just have to like retreat because sometimes I get like too much into it. I mean, I don't start it either. Do I? I didn't say he was dumb. I said I don't want to hear anything he has to say. He's wicked. I don't want to hear Joe either. So, like, can we just like moratorium on the both of them? Imagine a week without having to hear Mark or Joe. Just imagine it. The peace, the tranquility of it. Come on, fellas, you know it's true. There you are, sellotaping your fingers together. Why can't we wrap presents? Eh, ladies? You have to come and do the wrapping for us, don't you? Eh, ladies? You have to do the wrapping. I feel like men would be naturally better at wrapping. I don't know. I'm not that good at it. I'm okay at it, but I'm not I'm not very good at it myself. Sometimes we've got you a present and you have to wrap it. I'm saying you have to wrap your own presents. Exactly. And it seems to Jenna and me, as once again she goes glumly to bed and I stay up with a bottle of wine to play Civilization 2 for another 2 hours, that yes, Mr. Gray is definitely onto something. I'm not rejecting Jenna, I'm just in my cave. And when Jenna wants to talk about how our relationship doesn't seem to be much fun anymore, that's just because she's from Venus. Luckily, Venusians only want to be listened to. There's nothing a Martian can actually do to help. In fact, if a Martian tries to solve the problem, then he's just showing that he doesn't get that she's from another planet. So I make a big show of listening because conveniently that is now the maximum requirement. I don't know. I've had this problem with women too, where like they'll like want to discuss their problems and you like start to offer solutions and they get mad. Like, don't be coming to me with your problem. Like, don't come to someone like me, a logical person. Yeah, a lot of people, I don't like that. I don't like when people do that. I don't want to hear about your problems if you don't have any. Like, don't bring me your problems until you're ready to solve them. That's how I feel. And when I'm like when I'm dealing with a problem that I'm not ready to solve, I don't like to talk about it. He didn't run. He popped right in and said, "Hi, I'm watching you." I'm sure, Tomas. I'm sure it is. Well, I mean, I've been around a lot of women in my life, especially like with my feminist activism years, I was around a lot of women, so got to experience a lot of that interesting stuff. He popped in and was like, AFK. Oh, please do not speculate about him in my chat, okay? You know how I feel about him. I don't like it. I don't. God, I mean, Matthew, I know. I remember I had one. Yeah, that's true. Dystopian deep dives. There's men that are like that. I don't like people like that, male or female. Like, And I feel like too, it's just, until you're ready to really deal with the problem, you really shouldn't bring it up. You really shouldn't until you're like ready to deal with it. Because all you're doing is like causing yourself stress. You're, giving people an opportunity to judge you, and yeah, it's just not good. Um, It doesn't occur to me that the reason why Jenna wants to talk about our relationship is that it really is looking quite peaky. Neither do I consider that as a girl and then a woman, she has been told about 5 times an hour that care of personal relationships, wrapping presents, among other things, is her job. I, on the other hand, am quite certain that care of personal relationships is basically none of my business. I wouldn't know where to start. I mean, I'll read the stupid book and everything, but the stupid book just gave me a massive pass. So if you don't mind, I'll just do my listening and then play Civilization 2 because that's precisely what I feel like doing with my time. Men don't have me time, you understand? They just have time. And now, rather marvelously, spending large portions of it alone doing something enjoyable isn't being selfish. It's fulfilling the basic psychological needs of my people, the Martians. Jenna gets a job and goes on tour in a production of Charlotte's Web. It's a theater and education tour, which is where you do a show for schools and then follow the performance up with some kind of workshop with the children. It's an established route for making it actors to get work and maybe an agent, given that The Miser was nothing if not a Thai tour. I have absolutely no right to be snooty about Jenna's job, but I managed to be snooty anyway. Partly I'm jealous. Almost all the work I'm doing with David is writing. Bruiser had vanished in the same way it had initially surfaced, without a trace. It seemed like we were going to subsist as writers, which was something, but not as actors, which was everything. Also, even 8 years on, the memory of what happens when your girlfriend goes away for weeks on end was still rancid enough to make me feel sick. I completely trusted Jenna not to shag Tony the techie, but still, even I couldn't see the relationship wasn't in great shape, and the last thing I wanted was for Jenna to break out and get some perspective. And third, despite The Miser, I was snooty about Thai for the sake of being snooty. I remembered a company visiting Queen Elizabeth Grammar School and doing an amazingly shit play for the 5th years in sixth form about the dangers of alcohol. The shouty but turgid performance of the patronizing and humorless play was greeted by the audience of Lincolnshire teenagers with giggling incredulity, replaced gradually by sullen resentment. I'm pretty sure that UKIP recruited about 100 future voters that day. Typical metropolitan elite. Who are these London C words? Who do they think they are telling us there's something wrong with getting smashed on Thunderbird before we go to a barn dance? One of them has a red label bottle of Thunderbird as a prop when everyone knows that the blue label stuff is much stronger. And this bloke, the one doing the workshop, is he even Rick Mayall? He isn't, is he? He's an actor from London, and he isn't even Rick Mayall. 16 years old, I was out of my mind with envy. Despite how badly it had gone, these guys were in their mid-20s and professional actors. Look at their proper facial hair. Look at the way even Tiffany and Zelda are excitedly waving them off as they get back in their bloody transit van. Indeed. I have to correct them as well, Yoda? Oh dear. What did Modern Gentleman say? Indeed, it will not. Indeed, it will not. Hello, Galahad. I try to be a good influence on the people that I meet and that I know. And I try to show them, love, ultimately. I say goodbye to Jenna as she gets into a transit van. I decide I need to up my game. After all is the problem? Well, I think to myself, I've just turned 30 and Jenna is about to turn 30, so she's probably worrying about children. That's it. She probably wants to know whether or not I'm going to marry her. Am I going to marry her? Tough one. Yeah, why not? Jenna's great. I mean, it's not brilliant all the time, but what relationship is? I'd definitely be sad if we broke up or she died. So yeah, I'll just ask her to marry me. That should do the trick. Matthew, you are detestable. Ugh. Goodbye, Galahad. My friend Ellis is well traveled, and I asked him to suggest a romantic city where I might pop the question on an away break. He says Milan. Cool, Milan then. This'll show her. Sure, it's been a bit nothingy lately, but once we get married and have children, that's when the romance really starts, my friend. This is where it gets romantic. I can't believe this woman stayed 8 years with him. 8 years. She was 30, y'all. How? How does that happen? I mean, I see it happen all the time. I know how it happens. Women are crazy out here, but how? Ugh. It doesn't sound like she loved it. It sounds like it just was. It sounds like they were friends. It was a relationship of convenience. They both got something out of it. But yeah, she was not thinking clearly, that's for sure. Jenna comes home in a break from the chore. We're walking on Primrose Hill, and I drop a heavy hint about how she shouldn't make any plans for the next weekend. She bursts into tears and moves in with her mother. It didn't cross my mind that she would say no. I don't know whether to be relieved or annoyed that she said no before I'd even asked the question. It turned out that she indeed got some perspective on tour, but I think she was well ahead of me anyway. She told me that she'd been waiting for me to ask her for a long time, but that the moment I did, she realized it wasn't something she wanted anymore. That day, we go to the pub and I make lots of soothing noises about how she probably just needs to have a proper think. I'm still kidding both myself and her. I won't need to cancel the flights to Milan because I didn't book them. She doesn't move out straight away. There's a surreal limbo period of out-of-body weirdness. Neither of us can believe it's happening, and we talk to each other quietly like we're both stoned. The pilot, called POV, has been commissioned for a whole Channel 4 series, and the new title is Peep Show. I do the first week's filming, and Jenna even leaves me some warm food for when I get in at night. On the Saturday morning, we're watching MTV when The Scientist by Coldplay comes on. Oh, great. Thanks, lads. She looks at me. This isn't going to be our breakup song, is it? No, I say decisively. I immediately liked The Scientist. But I've also heard that Coldplay are massively unfashionable, so I add, we deserve a better song. It's just more BS. She moves out 4 days later. Yes, let's go back to the start. Let's ask our questions and tell our secrets and run out the theater bar and kiss in the street. I've got a job to do, but at the weekends, I go back to playing Civilization 2 on my Tangerine iMac, except now I do it with 2 bottles of wine instead of 1. What did I miss? Oh, God. You're sick. No way, ain't no way I'm reading that out loud. Ain't no way those words are going to come out of my mouth. You sicko. That's sick. Not even for laughs. I'm not reading that. I'm disturbed it even went into my mind. You a sick puppy. You are a sick puppy. Sick. Yeah, you're very creative. We will give you that. You're very creative. All right, y'all. We're at chapter 14, which is the last chapter. I'm not up for reading it tonight, to be honest. It's another 24 pages, so there's no way I'm going to get through 24 pages tonight. So I'm going to stop there with the book. It's probably for the best to dystopian deep dives. Probably best that you ignore. Just talk to me. Just ignore the chat and talk to me. I know, 24 pages. Imagine getting through that. Yeah, we'll do another one of these streams and wrap up the book. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next night. Is there anything on Monday night that I have anything Monday? I feel like maybe I do. Why do I think I have something on Monday? No, I don't really think I have it. Yeah, we'll probably do it within the next. No, next book is going to be The Green Book by Myanmar Gaddafi. Is that his name? Myanmar? It's not Myanmar. The Honeycomb Center. Yum. You knew him, Matthew. My goodness. You don't think so, do you, modern gentlemen? Oh, dear. Yes, my chat is a bit rough, isn't it? It's so strange. Did you, Tomas? We did 2 videos together about Kamala Harris. I don't know. Well, indeed. I think that's probably right, Matthew. I think he's probably right about that. It does get degenerate. Did you like it, Yoda? I'm glad you liked it. I mean, it's interesting. He knows a lot about her. I mean, he wrote a book about her, so why wouldn't he know a lot about her? But I mean, yeah, it makes sense that he's really on the thing because he did write that book 4 years ago, so he definitely wants to promote it. You know, it was censored, so that was pretty outrageous. So I think he's got a personal grudge as well, because why was it censored? You know, the day her candidacy is announced, his book goes off, right? I'd be ticked. I'd be coming for her too. It's interesting though, and it's nice to have a critique of her from the left, though, I think, Yoda. Despite your nasty words about my friend. Indeed, he was not, Yoda. Stop it. Don't ever say anything like that about him. He's the most alpha man I've ever seen, modern gentleman. Like, Yoda, you think everyone's trying to groom everyone all the time. It's so silly. He's always being like, this person's trying to groom this person. Dang. Like, indeed, he is not. Don't laugh at me, modern gentleman. You don't know how I feel. Alas, he does not feel that way about me. Whatever will I do? How do I reconcile what with Ben Shapiro? Reconcile what with Ben Shapiro, Tomas? What are you implying, or what are you asking? You would like more chats with us? Okay. I do need to book some more guests. I do feel like I know a number of people, and I should probably again be doing that. I haven't scheduled anybody on recently, though, or I don't have anyone upcoming. But I will get on it. We will have some more strange conversations. Did I get another text? No, okay. Indeed, I should not. How would I reconcile? What do you mean with Ben Shapiro? I don't understand. Ben Shapiro is he's I don't know. I could not have Mark on. Good God. I've had to be on hold when I've called into the Hake report and have him in my ear holding the phone. Ugh. Do you know how awful that is to have him in your phone like that? Not on your phone, on a little thing, but like, listening like that. Ugh. Is Missing Maud online? Hey, Frederick. Yoda has been thinking about you. Matthew, butter my biscuit? What does that mean? Ugh. You'd love to see a split screen discussion with me and him. What would we talk about? No, Yoda, I wouldn't marry him for any money. I don't know exactly what butter my biscuit means. I don't know why you think I would find him in any way likable or charming. I find him repugnant. He is repugnant. The way he speaks just disgusts me. Mark is my last quest to overcome. I love him as a person. I wish him well. He has a lot to overcome himself. He has a lot of anger and fear that run him. And it's very off-putting to listen to that in a man. No, Yoda, no. No money. No money. None. Oh, Frederick, be careful. Be careful. I saw a video. I didn't curse him at all, Matthew. I didn't curse him. In no way did I curse him. I said the truth. That's the truth. That's what he's dealing with. You just like him because you agree with him. And because you agree with him, you don't hear the hate that he's saying. I mean, God, I had to be listening to him go on about like, I don't even want it, like, ugh. I don't, it's not even about forgiveness. He hasn't done me wrong other than like to, horrify me with the reprehensible hate that's coming out of his mouth. Yeah, and you love his opinions too. Perhaps he did, Yeri. There's no hate, blame, or victimhood. He's the one with the hate, the blame, and the victimhood. Do you hear what he says? Am I in an alternate reality where like what he says isn't being said, where it's not obvious? Ugh. What kinds of people do I want to bring on the show? Definitely, like, I don't know, just people I know, people that I have some kind of connection to, really. I'm thinking more artists. I probably want to talk to different artists. I'm thinking of a female artist that has a YouTube that's pretty successful that I'm connected to. She comes on here sometimes randomly. She's Dee Dee Willingham. She's cool. She does these really awesome live streams. She does a lot of collage and just all kinds of creative things. Her videos are quite something. And then she also does like Barbie art. Like she'll set her Barbies up in the garden and do different kind of like funny shoots with them. So those are fun. Yeah, but I don't really want to have those kind of discussions on my channel at all, Matthew. Like I'm not bringing I don't want that kind of content and discussion and topic on my channel. Period. I don't want to, I'm not into it. It's not something I want to discuss. I don't want to discuss it like at all. Yeah, so I'm thinking of her and some other people. I mentioned my uncle, possibly having him on, or asking him to come on. I don't know if he probably would. He loves me. Maybe some others. We shall see. I've been thinking about asking Joel. What do you all think? Would that be good? Do you think he would collab with me? We've had, I don't know, we've had an intense relationship, but I feel like maybe it would be, maybe we would have a fun time. It'd be nice to promote his channel more and get people maybe that subscribe to me interested in what he's got going on, for those of you who know him or know of him. Dawning smells like sulfur when he calls in. Another evil person. Good night, dystopian deep dives. Yes. Rimworld. I don't know what Rimworld is. It was nice having you here. Well, enough. Yeah, enough of that. Your suggestions definitely would not have Mark on my channel. Tomas, why would she block you? If she blocked you, it must have been a mistake. I would be very uncomfortable having him on my channel saying the kind of things he does. Not only is it like for the sake of my channel, not a good idea, it's also stuff that I just don't want to like listen to. I don't like hearing it, you know, when he calls in to the different shows. And I just don't want to give him, he has a platform of his own, okay? He has a platform of his own to spew his message. Like, I'm not giving him any more air on my platform that I've built. Like, no. Does Jason have rodents? I know Seth hasn't been around in a while. I wonder. He used to be here all the time, and I feel like maybe he was made uncomfortable in the chat, which makes me unhappy. Because Seth has been a very, you know, nice supporter for a long time, and I don't want anyone to be uncomfortable in my chat, you know. Jason is interesting. I didn't know he had rodents, though. I love rodents. Do you think he would get on cam and show me his rodents? Well, what about? Yes, being 40 and living with one's mother does sound very difficult. I don't know. That would be. Well, Serge has been on my channel already. Serge. Good old Serge. Wait. I love how often he calls in, too. Yeah, Serge has already been on here. That was a weird conversation. It definitely kind of like, and he was like bringing up the topic again recently. He's like, you're controlling. You just want to control. Basically, we had this disagreement about what constitutes a marriage. And I said that I wouldn't engage in something that was called a marriage, but that wasn't legally a marriage. And then he like acted as if that's me being controlling instead of me being, you know, financially responsible. I don't know, like, it's amazing to me how men are out here not understanding that women like come to relationships with assets of their own, for one, that getting married tends to make men wealthier, and also that they're like, you know, mortal. And if you're going to have a family with a woman, if you're going to actually have her, getting pregnant and having multiple children by you, you might want to set up a situation where, if you die suddenly, your family is secure. So I don't know. That kind of thing just really boggles my mind. And I don't know. I know that women are, especially women who are dumb, are, might be finessed by like, this is, in the Bible, they didn't, have to, get a marriage license with the government, but I sure as hell am not the one. Matthew, that is one of the worst things I think I've ever heard you say. This is Matthew's response to me saying that in the event of death, you might want to make sure that your family's secure. Are you serious right now? Why would you take a wife and start a family and then, not make sure that all the ducks are in a row in the event of your untimely death? Why would you make it more difficult for your wife in that situation to have, control over everything? Why would somebody do that? Oh, I see. That's a rich people issue. It's not just a rich people issue. And having a woman, like I said, most men don't even have like this, you want to ask, like, this is another thing that just really irritates me about this MGTOW BS, this incel kind of, divorced beta BS that is out here, that people are acting as if it's legitimate. Most men, average men, most men don't have any wealth until they get married. So until they actually have a wife and a family, they're not even reaching anywhere near their earning potential. They don't have any assets. They don't have any property. It's the marriage that actually brings them these things. And then they, so they never have a prenup, when they get married, because they didn't have anything to begin with. And then they're like, oh, she took half of what she built. And, Matthew, they don't owe anything to leave Earth, Terry. Well, okay. If you own a home, that's wealth, that's property. If you have multiple vehicles, that's wealth, that's property. If you have savings, you have assets. Most people don't have that until they get married. Most people don't build that until they get married. So I'm just saying, like, and then, I'm just saying here, like, hi, sweetheart. My sweetie. My sweetie. I know. They're talking like brokies, aren't they? It's repugnant. He doesn't like it. When will they get out of their poverty mindset? When will they get out of their scarcity and poverty mindsets? I don't know. When will they start talking about like assets and money as if it's a real thing? Yes. Oh, what a good boy. Oh, what a good boy. Oh, what a good boy. Matthew, if you don't understand why it would be awful to leave your, wife or not wife, because legally she's not your wife. If you don't understand why it would be bad to leave the mother of your children and your children in a situation where they're not able to access the money that, was theirs when you were alive. Like, I don't know. I mean, you've got an issue. That's not pain beyond. Why would you want to have a situation like that? Like, it's insane to me. It really is insane to me. But you know what? I'm not here to convince you, because you got your issues, and I'm done. Okay, you're right, Fred. You're right. Here I am discussing something I shouldn't have to discuss. I mean, this is the thing. It was like with Galahad in my chat yesterday. He was like, I told him women are the prize. Or right, because he said something about how he spoke to his girlfriend. Like, you better marry me. And I was just like, was that your proposal? Like, no woman wants to be talked to in that way by modern gentlemen. And I was just like, men who are out here thinking that, I'm the prize. Like, it's girly. It's very girly. It's very feminine. You want her chasing you like that? I mean, it's just, I can't imagine, like, yeah. It makes me irritated when I'm being called controlling for just wanting a marriage that's real. That that's legally real. It makes me irritated when I'm accused of being a controlling person, when my expectation is that if a man calls me his wife, or I call him my husband, that he's actually my husband. You know what I mean? But no, you don't know what I mean. I'm just saying I wouldn't get into that situation. That's all. It's not a situation I'm going to get into. I will never enter into that kind of situation with a man, period. That's my standard. People can think it's controlling. People can think whatever they like about it. They're not a man I would ever be interested in the first place, because I'm not going to be with a man that isn't, virtuous in that respect. Nero would never say that. Nero is 100% committed to me. You would never do that. If you was a human, you would never do that to me. I've already spoken about who it was. Indeed, Frederick. It's just the bare minimum as far as I'm concerned, Frederick. It's the bare minimum. Like, we really, like, you want the most out of a woman while giving the least. Yeah, right. I'm not the one. Go find someone else. Period. Keep it moving. That is loving, Matthew. That is loving. That's the loving thing to do. The loving thing is the right thing. Love is the right thing. Hi, Harmony. Oh, shoot. Harmony is here. You're not asking for my hand anymore, Matthew. Yes, you're digging them claws in. I finished reading my book, and now I'm arguing with the men in chat about stupid things. How are you this evening? How's things going? You got a new pic? Let's put it up. Let's see how you looking in this one. Nice, nice. Let's take the banner down, yeah? Banner down. Okay, banner down. There we go. Banner is off. I do like that. I know, Tomas, you understand. I think it's just the right, decent thing. Like, I just, like, why is the normal, right, correct, decent way of doing things so controversial to, I don't know. And he said something revealing in that conversation. He was like, yeah, but if you're legally married to her, she has you by the balls. And I'm like, well, that's what marriage is. Duh. Was Nick live? I didn't know he was live. Oh, I feel bad. I missed a Nick stream. He was doing one of his Saturday streams. Did he go on VR? And here I was reading my silly little book. No, he's doing his plantation. I can't watch the plantation, y'all. I really can't get into that. But yeah, I'm still hanging out. I thought maybe we could do some video watching and like, because I have a bunch of videos saved that I need to get through. Maybe we could do some responses to that. Because I'm still up for being on here. I'm just not up for reading another chapter. Oh, what's this? Lenin and the Brutal Magic of Communism. I wonder, I do have these, like, I have a couple of interesting comics that were produced about, like, it's like the ABCs of Marx's Capital. I don't know that I want to do that one, but I have one on Lenin and Trotsky that are similar. I thought those might be fun to go through, at least the one on Lenin. I saw that Vegan Deterioration is getting sued by a vegan as well. That's pretty insane. Yeah, they're setting up a plantation. Frederick knows. Hello, see now and no. How you doing? Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Right. I mean, you know, like understanding life isn't always like what you think it's going to be. Good night, Matthew. Okay, let's see. I'm pulling up things. Let's see what I have here. See if I have anything worth sharing with you guys. I don't know that I'm going to be more interested in the Nick stream. I found another one of those like Portland, Oregon expose videos. Me and these videos, I can't. Oh no, that one's different. I'm not going to share that one. This one was interesting. It was why I stopped inviting friends to church, and here's what my pastor said. I think that might be interesting. Just met someone who randomly decided to make some stream overlays for me. I felt uncomfortable. People are not nice like that online. Sometimes people are. I found some pretty nice people online. But yeah, a lot of the times people are a little bit snaky. You never know what they might think that you owe them in return. So I wonder what he'll want from it. Yes, happy Saturday. Tomas says something interesting. What I do enjoy about you, Terri, is that you, in spite of it all, have maintained some old world, quote unquote, quote unquote old world sensibilities. old world sensibilities. I think I know what you mean. I do think I understand what you're referring to about me. I'm very old school generally. I believe in doing things the right and proper way, despite being living a life or having been brought into circumstances in life that were not so aristocratic, let's say. I definitely have an understanding of that. I know. This person is threatening to sue her and going to take her to small claims court and filed like 2 copyright strikes against her and has been like sending her these really insane emails being like, oh, I'll retract the copyright strike if you meet me in person and agree to do an interview. Like, and she's like, I'm not doing that, like, because you're, a crazy vegan, but Tomas, don't judge me, Tomas, love me. Well, I mean, it's allow yourself to be blessed. Not everybody. Sometimes people just like doing things. I mean, haven't you ever done anything for anyone? Let yourself be blessed and understand you don't owe anyone anything either. Don't let anyone make you feel obligated just because they do something for you. Like, indeed. Yeah, they're eating all the animals' food. How silly. Okay. I think I'm going to put on this one video and respond to it, or at least give my thoughts about it. And we'll see where we go from there. Okay, so yeah. Oh, God, it's an Australian, y'all. I don't know if I can take it. Oh, Australian, I don't know. Can I do it? Can I listen to an Australian for 6 minutes? It's a short video. I don't think it should be too problematic. But yeah, it's titled Why I Stopped Inviting Friends to Church and What My Pastor Said. I thought this might be interesting because, like, I don't know. I'm not big on inviting people to church. I will occasionally for certain events, but I don't know. I don't feel obligated to, like, be recruiting people to church all the time. Okay, I'm not liking that layout. Where's the one that I like? Here? Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm in the corner. Terry's in the corner, baby.
I'm going to tell you about how I reached a point when I was at my former church that I stopped inviting friends to church. I reached a point where I felt that I couldn't do this because it was actually doing more harm to them than good. And I'm going to tell you how I actually brought this up with one of the pastors. And I'm going to tell you what he said in response to my concerns. So, in short, when I was in my former church, the preaching, it took me a number of years to recognize this as I grew in my knowledge of the Bible, that the preaching was seeker-friendly. It was basically about how you can have blessing and favor and how God can help to heal you and your hurts and emotionally and all of that sort of stuff. It lacked balance and substance and conviction, and it didn't preach or emphasize essential elements of the gospel truth: sin, hell, judgment, repentance, or of Christian living, dying to yourself, taking up your cross, any of that sort of stuff. Now, before I get into this message, I just want to say that my heart isn't to put down churches out there. And in fact, I don't expect that churches are going to have the best preaching in the world. It's not about that. But it is about faithfully communicating
when I'm trying to listen
the
to
true gospel message and all of the elements so that a person can hear it.
I mean, okay, my initial problem with this is, like, how much is a pastor responsible for your walk as a Christian? I think they can only guide you a bit, but I don't think, like, they can't read the Gospels for you. I mean, and I find, the biggest, I think the most important thing is that people leave knowing how to be like, or that people leave walking away knowing about the free gift of salvation and how easy it is to have. And I think the rest is up to them, really. But I don't know. I mean, then again, I feel like maybe I've just been kind of lucky with my church. Nick is here. Hi, Nick. Yeah, like the stream, people. Come on. American Anchor Baby in my stream. Who would have thought he would show up for little old me in the corner? Who is Arthur Lee? Arthur Quan Lee. He is a bit Pugsley-like, isn't he? Dressed like little Timmy, y'all. Hi, delighted to be here. Okay, come on. Hi, Swindlesy. Okay, let's continue.
They can feel a conviction for their sin, and then they can come to a knowledge of the Savior through the power of the Holy Spirit. So that's where my heart is at. But as I said, in this particular church, as I've covered before, I would just sit there, and as I came to a place when I recognized more and more what the truth of the gospel was, the Bible, the emphasis of it, I realized how far away the preaching at this particular church was. And I would bring friends along, and I'm wanting them to hear the gospel message, but they're coming along, and what they're actually hearing is that, Jesus has a plan and purpose for you. If you put your faith in Jesus, and he's going to help you, he's going to make your life wonderful, all of these sort of things. But there's a problem, right? This type of message mainly appeals to a type of person that is struggling. They've got things going on. They're hurting. It basically just appeals to vulnerable people. The types of people that I would invite along to church were friends who were doing quite well in life. They were quite happy with their lives. And rather than hearing about the one need that they had, which was forgiveness of their sins because they're under the judgment of God, that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, Romans 3:23, and the wages of sin is death, Romans 6:23.
He's thumping.
And that man is appointed to die once, and then after that comes a judgment, Hebrews 9:27. They were just hearing about how God would bless them and have this plan for them and help them. The problem is that these people were quite happy with a plan that they already had for their life. So what happens is it turns Jesus into a want rather than a need. If you're struggling and you want this better plan, great. But you know what? If you've already got a great plan for your life, then you don't need that plan, because why would you need it? And then people can just turn around and sort of say to that, you know what? I'm good, God. I'm good. I'm happy with the plan that I have for my life. But thank you so much for offering. It's very kind of you. And they don't recognize their need for the Savior. The greatest need is the fact that they are a sinner and that they are on their way to hell. They can't save themselves. They need Jesus Christ to save them. So I came to a point where I had to stop inviting people to church, because I actually thought to myself, you know what? People are hearing a message which is actually giving them the completely wrong conception of what Christianity is, what the gospel is. And then they're going away thinking, oh, this is the Christian message. Okay, that sounds like a good message, but that message isn't for me. Rather than being convicted of their sin and coming face to face with that reality that they're under the judgment of God, and then having to make a decision, well, am I going to humble myself and put my faith in Jesus Christ, or am I going to reject the message? But at least they know the consequences and what's at stake. It's no longer a want, it becomes a need.
Oh my.
So I wrestled with this for a long time, because you don't come to a knowledge of all of these things clearly at once quite often. And I got to that point where I just thought, I can't invite friends here anymore. It's just not helpful. It's just not actually, it's moving them further away from the true message. And I went to one of the pastors, the associate pastor, and I said to him, look, I'm struggling and I don't feel like I can invite friends to church anymore because of these reasons. And the answer of the associate pastor was a very predictable answer. And he goes, Matt, that's of the devil. That's the devil not wanting them to come to church. Now, look, this man's a sincere man, and I know that his heart is sincere. And it's true that the devil would not want someone coming to church if the church was preaching the true gospel message. But if the church was preaching a message that twists the gospel message and actually gave people a wrong conception of the gospel message of God, that's the exact place where the devil would want people to be.
He's a bit crazy for me. I can't. Let's turn that off. I'm not into that at all. Harmony asked about my eyeliner. Yes, it's red. It is red eyeliner today. We did the red eyeliner. I have, let's see, red eyeliner. I have like a red glittery eyeliner. I had a pink one. I just kind of ran out of it. White eyeliner I'm big on as well. I haven't done white in a while though. Maybe I'll do white tomorrow. I don't know what my outfit's going to be for church, so I need to figure out like coordination with my outfit. I try to coordinate my makeup to my outfit, you know. I mean, I definitely do always coordinate my makeup to my outfit. I mean, I try to. Indeed, I do not try. I do. Yes. Well, okay, so at the block party today, they had face painting. I did not get my face painted, unfortunately, but I decided to put a heart on my cheek just so I would kind of look in. But, you know, I volunteered at 1:00 and there weren't really any kids, you know, there were no kids by the time. I mean, the pastor's kids were there. Well, I don't want to say there were no kids. There were some kids playing. It was a fun block party, actually. Like, and I can tell when it started, it must have been fun. But like I said, by the time I got there, it was mostly just like, honestly, homeless people coming up that, or people who were maybe not so, I don't know. Thank you, Harmony. That's right. You got Harmony? You got her. Got her. But yeah, it was mostly like, yes, Ned Flanders kind of kids. Well, it was put on by my church, Harmony. It was put on by the church. So it was basically done for back to school reasons. They gave out backpacks full of school supplies to kids who signed up. And then there were activities and like food and stuff and music. So we had like some really rock and gospel music that was pretty terrible being blasted on the sound system. And then we had some actual musicians come on and play some music. I missed Neil on his banjo, but he was showing me his banjo. You like my earrings? Thank you. They're cute little costume earrings, you know. But yeah, it was fun to have a block party and to hang out with people and chat and whatnot and just be fun. And I didn't win anything. We did raffles. So I was at the Welcome Center. I was, you know, the first, you know, table basically set up there as you enter the block. Basically where it was set up was the parking lot of the church. My church has a pretty big parking lot behind the church, and it's takes up about half of a block. So there were all these tents and things. So they had laser tag set up, y'all. They had like a bouncy house. They had laser tag. They had face painting. They had popcorn and like cotton candy going on. Hot dogs and chips and bottles of water. So I did have a hot dog. Pastor Sam brought me a hot dog. That was fun. A glizzy, a real life glizzy, grilled. And you know, when I came up, everybody was like swarming me. I'm kind of popular at church, honestly. I'm pretty popular at my local church. It's kind of funny. Like I came up and like the ladies that were like manning the grill were like came up to me and like, "Hi Terri," like gave me hugs, and then yeah, I kind of went around. I was a little bit early. I don't know, Galahad. I mean, I think that my church is, I'm very content with my church, honestly, you know, because I do meet a lot of people in like the Bond JLP network community that are like, you don't need to go to church. You don't need to belong to a church. But I've been very blessed by my local church. It's definitely fed my spirit in a lot of ways. I like being part of a community that's intergenerational. You know, there are people that have been attending that church that still go every Sunday, that have been going since they were kids. You know, their parents went to the church. Like Bob, for example, I attended his sister and his mother's memorial service. He grew up going to that church. He talked about the memories he had, you know, being a little boy and his big sister, you know, with him in the church. And she ended up working for the church for a number of years. And she was involved in like the Cambodian ministry, the children's ministry. Um, and his mother and father were married in that church. Like they met in that church and married in that church. Actually, the pastor, the senior pastor and his wife met in my church too, like years ago. What religion is it? We're Christians. I attend an American Baptist denomination church, though. American Baptist is my denomination, which is fitting for me. It's a good mix. It's a good denomination for me. You want to see the interior of my church. You want me to dox my local church. We didn't have any ice cream though. I mean, we don't have a choir right now. I mean, there was a choir. Actually, one of the choir members has been sad that the choir is not going right now. That's been something that she kind of came up to me and was telling me she was struggling with, because she doesn't really know what her place is in the church, and she loved the choir. But the people who kind of organize the choir, you know, they're not able to do that right now. So, and the pastor of worship, you know, that the worship band's getting pretty big, you know. Was what falconing? I did get him. That is quite endearing to hear. It sounds like the best of America. It is. It is. I think I blocked falconing this week. He said something to me I didn't like. I was like, I'm done with you. It went beyond the pale though. It was like, ugh. I'm like, I don't want to hear from this guy anymore. But yeah, Harmony, definitely think about joining a local church, or like, I have to say, like, it was the Holy Spirit that brought me into that church. I know that God pulled me into that church, just the way it happened. And it's been a place where I've grown spiritually. It's been a place where I've been able to serve and just be a light to other people. And, you know, have people be a light to me. I've really been blessed by it, you know? So I definitely very much recommend belonging to a local body. There's not like any replacement for it. And being, you know, I love Bond, definitely. And I support Bond and I tithe to Bond, you know, they're important to me, but they can't replace for me the groundedness and there's something about just being in an actual church. Have I been a light? How have I been a light? telling people the truth, helping people overcome, helping people see past things, volunteering, helping things happen that feed the spirit, encouraging others. I mean, really. And definitely fellowship is another one. But yeah, I mean, even like the pastors have told me, like, just my consistency in attendance is to them very encouraging. The senior pastor told me, he's like, you're here every week and it's so encouraging. It's so encouraging to me to like have a dedicated, have someone dedicated who's, rain or shine all year. No, my pastor, the senior pastor at my church, is not very dramatic. I would say American Baptists are not that, in my experience. He can be, different pastors are different. I mean, mine is very good at explaining biblical concepts and definitely being educational with his sermons. He's kind of more of a jokester, I would say. He makes his sermons more, I don't know, he just kind of has like some kind of dad joke vibes. I don't know exactly how to explain. Hi, Kevin McAllister. But yeah, yeah. Has my pastor ever broached the subject of casting out demons? We haven't talked much about deliverance in the church. I mean, it's something that's kind of, I mean, we did talk about demons once before. We've talked about evil before. We've talked about the devil, and we have talked about demons once before, but it's not, deliverance really isn't big. And I don't think he even feels qualified to get into that at all. He definitely has a dad bod, 100%. You were talking to Harmony, calm down. Oh, okay. You're in my chat talking to someone else. Is that it? Yeah, I don't see it very common in Baptists, to be honest. I mean, but right now we're going through the Psalms, and we're going to be doing Psalm 27 tomorrow. I know, because I asked him when I was leaving. I was like, what Psalm are we doing tomorrow? How am I not supposed to get jealous when you're being so vicious to me? How am I not to be jealous about that? I was hurt by your comment. I said hello to you in a nice manner, and you're like, I'm talking to Harmony, not you. Like, why can't we both be gorgeous? We're both women of God. You like, it's not a competition here. We can both be gorgeous, There can be more than one beautiful woman in the chat. Yeah. Oh, okay. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked came against me to eat up my flesh, my enemies and foes, they stumbled and fell. Though an army may encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war may rise against me, in this I will be confident. Yeah, this one is one that I sang before. One thing I have desired of the Lord, that will I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret place of his tabernacle he shall hide me. He shall set me high upon a rock. Well, I'm looking forward to the pastor's discussion of this. It's a Psalm of David, an exuberant declaration of faith. It's beautiful when it's performed. I'm interested to I'm interested what music the band will be performing in relation to it, because they always are like responding to the word. Hi, Christ King. Holy mackerel. I wonder, I'm going to look up my church's website, pull it up here and see. Actually, you know what? Why don't I share one of the I'll just show you one of the services. How does that sound? So you can see what it's like inside, at least part of it. And you can always follow me on Instagram. I often post pictures of like the stained glass in my church, the different like old features. It's an old church. So definitely, like, if you like to see churchy content, I do often post on Sundays in my stories things about, the church, or parts of the church, or I'll take selfies in different rooms in the church. It's very beautiful. Here we are. That's the logo. Yeah, I haven't been streaming though. I know they have. Oh, I thought I was subscribed. I guess I'm not subscribed. Let's see. Oh, this was funny. He did a sermon called Lord Willing and the Creek Don't Rise. Let's pull that one up. That was the 23rd. Yeah. This is fun. I'm going to take y'all to church with me. It is not Bill Lockwood's church. It's just Terri Strange on Twitter. I am Excalibur. Interesting. Do you think so? Really? I'm unaware. Why George, God? Why? Okay, so let's pull this up here. I've got it queued. Excuse me, being a bit of a boomer here. Magical interlude. Okay, so now I'm going to take y'all to church with me. This is from June 23rd of this year. Since y'all were asking, we'll get this going. Let's make sure that, yeah. I need to get it to default to the setting I like. Okay, so here it is. This is, yeah. First Baptist. Get the announcements out of the way. No lunch. Okay, hold up. Here's Pastor Sam. Okay. Howard on, oh wait, no, is that the piano? Yeah, that's not the organ. That's it. That is indeed true, Tomas. I'm not for any Matt Tupin. There's Pastor Sam.
Lift up your heads, O you gates, and be lifted up, you everlasting doors. And the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Who is this King of glory? The Lord of hosts, he is the King of glory. Please join with me in worshiping our great King. of glory.
Okay, we don't need to hear this.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord.
Let the earth hear his voice.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord.
Pastor Sam is from India. He's not black, technically. He's Asian. Yes, one of the drummers in the church band is he's from Cuba. He's a black, an African Cuban or Afro-Cuban. Yes, yes, Sam is quite dark. His father's even darker. This is your father's favorite hymn? Oh, I apologize. Let's continue.
People rejoice.
Oh, come to the Father, through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory. Great things he hath done. I don't know this guy's name, honestly.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you very much.
There's the
Howard.
pastor,
Welcome to
Pastor
campus.
Matt.
Won't you join me in prayer? Welcome to First Baptist Church. I am Pastor Matt, and I'm really glad that you're with us today. Let's pray. Dear God, we are grateful
Here we are
for the
praying.
opportunity
Yeah, but you're
that we
not
have
getting.
to worship together. We're grateful that we are welcome in your house today, not because
Okay, y'all. Here's John.
The years of our life are 70, or even by reason of strength 80.
Wait, you know what?
Man is but toil and
I'm trying to think. Yeah, you don't really get any good view of the, okay, well, here's the band performing. You get kind of a view of more of the, you get more of a view then of the stage, but you don't even really get the full stage. Don't you say his name is Sam? His father is a minister as well. And God, you all are so terrible. You all are terrible. Don't make fun of my pastors. I love Pastor Sam. He is wonderful. You have no idea. And his children are delightful too. They really are. No, it's the church. The church is clear that, you know, the LGBTQ mess is, you know, not kosher. Not kosher. They don't, you know, it's not a affirming church at all. But I mean, we do have people in attendance who, you know, may or may not be, you know, struggling with that particular sin, you know. So, I mean, I was when I joined the church. I still hadn't like gotten over that mess. I was still, you know, dealing with having an identity like that, and I'm so glad. You know, I didn't wear it on my sleeve. I wasn't like, hey y'all. But I mean, just, you know, yeah, y'all. All of the churches around us have pride flags on them, and that was something that I really appreciated when I like got pulled into this church, was that I wasn't being pandered to. You know, that there wasn't like all this gay pandering. There wasn't, but like the church, you know, I just felt the Holy Spirit, you know, I felt it alive and well. And those churches have much better attendance than ours does, but we have a solid biblical community, and people, you know, the church has really made biblical teaching very important. And thankfully we are led by a pastor who is very, you know, capable of leading us in that way. So I'm very fond of it. I'm very happy with my church choice. I'm very happy. It's a place that I fit in, and I'm glad to be a part of the body, you know, and to serve in it how I can. I am fortunate. I don't know what this means. But I want to show you what the church looks like inside, and this isn't really doing it. So I'm going to go to the website and see if there will be any photos of it there. Oops. Oh, there's a gallery we can view. I don't know. I think the website needs work. Oh, there's little Lucy. Let's check out what's in the gallery. Y'all, let's check it out. I don't have a hippie pastor. Pastor hippie? Who are you talking about? Trudy is probably the hippie pastor. She's not even really, I mean, she's a pastor of worship. How does the Baptist bread and blood of God ritual work? I mean, we do, what we do is monthly, the first Sunday of every month, we do communion as a congregation. And then we do like the Lord's Supper when we eat together. We'll do a communion then as well, which is nice. She does not have a beard. John looks like he might enjoy some good pie. Indeed, he does. You all saw John up there. John was the guy that I went out with a couple of times, y'all. So shh. So this is little Lucy. This is the pastor's youngest. That was a few years ago. I don't know what this is. That's not in the church. What is this? Is like a meal they had? I don't know. Oh yeah, here's one of our meals as a congregation. Am I in here? I don't see myself. Why am I not in there? Oh yeah. There's Dan. He used to be our pastor of worship. I think the website needs to be updated, but yeah, you can see there's these beautiful, it's a beautiful church. Like, hoping we get more. Yeah, there's Santiago with the bongos. Which baby is that? I don't remember which baby that is. Oh, there's the choir. Yeah, the choir has not been going for a while. Okay. Yeah, this is before COVID, it looks like, or right around the start of it. And then they have the baptismal open there. So they have a baptismal that opens up behind the stage. You see where that cross is, y'all? In there, they have a big baptismal tub. Go back, Hot Rod. Do you call me Hot Rod? Yeah, the curved columns are nice. It's also a really nice organ in the church. I like that was another thing about it. You're back on the left. Please pull my comment down. Yeah, sorry. Go back to what? I was not in the first pick. I'm not in any. Is that? Oh, there's Levi. He's looking even younger then. Yeah, these were taken. These pictures were taken before I joined the church, y'all. These are way before my time. I do remember Pastor Dan. So yeah. Oh, there we go. There's a better shot of everything. So yeah, these, look at that. So you have the ceilings there. The ceilings are really gorgeous if you go down. You didn't see, there are other wheelchair users at my church. And that's not what my chair looks like. You can go on my Instagram if you want to see my scooter, y'all. But I'm definitely not in any of these pics. But yeah, as you can see, really interesting lights. I love the pipes coming out of that. There's the pastor's eldest son at the helm. The choir. Yep, see, there's other cripples at the church. Oh, there's pastor with his flip-flops in the baptismal tub. Nice. Getting ready to baptize someone. We love to baptize people at church. It's always fun. Baptists are into baptismal. Oh yeah, see, and they're baptizing, I don't know who that is. Again, this is before my time. And here they are. We have a full kitchen in the on the bottom level. There's Bruce making a funny face. I think this is probably for a holiday. Oh wow, they're above everyone. Okay, so this is the fellowship hall. So sometimes we'll have gatherings here. And yeah, oh, this might have been for Maundy Thursday or something. Okay, yeah, and you can see this is the fellowship hall next to the actual, what is it called? The sanctuary. So there's some beautiful stained glass in there as well. Indeed, I have been baptized. I was baptized when I was 8 years old. Might have been 9. No, I was 8. I was 8 years old when I was baptized. So yeah, this room is very fun. This is where we did the Alpha meetings, where we partnered with another church. What is it called? Oh, what is that church called? It's more of a youth-centered group. They did Alpha, but we hosted it in our fellowship hall, and I loved Alpha, but I was like 15 plus years older than most of the people, or yeah, everyone in my group. So it was kind of awkward. But yeah, I do not need another baptism. No, I've talked to the pastor about it. I don't need to be baptized again. You know you want to, but your scooter will short out. I know when I first joined the church too, one of the old guys, Wayne, okay, he's been attending the church since 1960, y'all. And his eldest daughter, Vicky, still attends and actually works for the church. And he was trying to convince me to, he's like, oh, do you want to get baptized again? Because they had just fixed like the baptismal as well, like before I joined. So they were like really anxious to break it in again. And I was like, I don't need to be baptized again. And I'm not getting in there. And I was like, you're going to have to carry me in and carry me out. And he was like, oh, no problem. And I'm like, old man, I swear to God that the Holy Spirit keeps these men like in shape. I tell you, like they're in their 80s and they're doing everything. I don't know who Ricky Berwick is. Double dips. Double dips. Stop it. I'm trying to share with y'all. We're trying to share. I'm gushing about my little church family and the beautiful church that we are in. It's Pastor Dan again. He no longer works at the church. Actually, I don't know who that is. There's Pastor Peter. He served at the church for over 40 years for the Cambodian congregation. We have a Cambodian congregation that's been meeting at our church for 40 years. Who is Ricky would go ape S word over me? Who is Ricky? But yeah, Pastor Peter is amazing as well. And he leads a mission trip to Cambodia every year that people go on. There's a children's ministry that we help fund there, where they basically it's a school playground, and like, you know, they also help with housing for the kids, and, you know, getting them to read, learn about God, all of that good stuff. Okay, let's see. Little baby. Yep, here we go. This is COVID times. Worship. Mm-hmm. I can't believe everybody's all masked up. God, how depressing, huh? But a lot of these people, I mean, the church congregation has dipped down since then. Oh yeah, they're worshiping hard. You know it's getting real when they start lifting their hands. Oh, that's an interesting spread that they have there. Oh, look at that little baby. They're singing up there. Oh, they're praying. Oh, they're singing How Great Thou Art, and they've got it in Cambodian, y'all. Ricky Berwick. Yeah, little baby. I love baby. It is a pretty, I mean, American Baptist churches are very diverse. They're, I think, the most diverse congregation in the country. I mean, the American Baptists that was MLK Jr.'s denomination. That's true, it was. I mean, but they even went remote for a while too. The church even went remote for a while. But they actually, in some ways it was good because they upped their streaming, you know, they got streaming on different platforms. So now people can join remotely. And we do have some people who are disabled or have other issues that can, you know, watch remotely now. And that wasn't really available before in the same way. Okay. I wonder what was going on here. Okay, so this is the Rose Chapel. This is where the Cambodian congregation meets. So they do the services in Khmer. So it's a beautiful chapel they have. And here's the kitchen. Someone's bald head. Oh, Matt was skinnier back then. Dang. Pastors put on a little weight. I need to stop. Oh, there's Pastor Peter again. Santiago praying over Janet. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, they don't really even show everything. Like, they don't even show all the beautiful, like, stained glass the church has. It has amazing stained glass that was put in like the 1880s. The church is, it's made of sandstone. I'm just glad to be a part of it. I also am glad to be like, it's a historic, you know, building, and I am glad to be, you know, a member just to help preserve that, you know. It's nice to think that, you know, in time, you know, when I'm not here, because I've like been a part of it, that it might continue. Yes, Protestants are funny. Well, I mean, the reality is it's just the modern church that's a mess. I mean, if you go to older churches, like, it doesn't matter about the like denomination really, but like they just design things in such a way, you know, even the Protestants, that they would be beautiful and uplifting and honoring to God. Oh, yeah, I could not worship at an abandoned Pizza Hut. I could not worship. No. How long have I been like, when did I join the church? I feel like I started attending in like, God, 2021 maybe? No, 2022. I started joining in 2000, or did I? Is it really that soon? It feels like it's been longer. I feel like I don't know, a couple of years. Yeah, that's true, Tomas. I mean, it's not so important that the building isn't important. I'm grateful that I live in a country where I can worship openly and freely, that I can every Sunday go to a church and have, worship. But some people don't have that. So thank you for that reminder, Tomas. That's true. There's Christians all over the world who can't worship, or they do worship, but they have to worship in their homes. They have to worship in private. And, the church is the people at the end of the day. But I mean, I feel I'm just the kind of person that that the historical integrity of the church is important to me. I'm blessed, it was God moving in me, just brought me to the right place at the right time, when I was ready. So praise the Lord. He knows what's right. And, you let him cook, he'll put you in the right spot. I wasn't even looking for a church, No, we don't do confessions. I don't want to hear about your sins. Sometimes people confess their sins to me, though. God, we did this workshop one weekend. Not everyone was in attendance. It was, optional. But I tend to go to the workshops and things just because I like to network and educate myself, But yeah, we did this workshop on like your testimony and how to, how to give testimony and how to, talk about your faith with people. And yeah, during it, there was a period, like there was a point in that when like we were, when we were given time to talk to one another, and this guy in the church came over and talked to me, and he was like, he starts telling me his testimony, and his testimony was just him confessing to me all this stuff he had done. Like in his life, all the ways he had been like wicked and sinful. And then after he was done, like just confessing all this stuff to me. And I was like, whoa. He was like, so when were you saved? And I was like, oh, I was 8. And he got this horrified look on his face, and he got up and he left after that. He was kind of like, oh, okay. And I'm like, but because he asked me when I was saved. He didn't ask me my testimony. He just asked me when were you saved? When did you get saved? And I was like, oh, I was a kid. Okay. All right. Thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, some of his songs are good. I have liked some of his songs. Dude, it's happened multiple times. These church men are wild. Do not try. When people are like talking about like dating at church, I'm like, you need to be very careful, because a lot of these guys, they're a mess. Oh Lord, yeah, he's not the only one. Like, yeah, I mean, it's and I don't judge him at all for his stories. I thought his story was beautiful. Like, but you could tell that he was like, and it's so funny because I don't have a squeaky clean story as a Christian at all, at all. I have some pretty wicked stuff in my testimony, but like, if you ask me, when were you saved? I was a kid. So that's different than like, when were you sanctified? When did you, overcome what? Are you mad at me? You want me to get off the computer? Are we having too much fun? Yeah. Good night, Samuel. Thanks for being here. It's fun having you. Irish Repub is a Catholic. I have never, well, that's not true. I have attended Mass. With my friend Samuel years ago. But like, I've been wanting to attend the Latin Mass service that one of the local Catholic churches has. They do it like the first Saturday of the month, but I haven't attended it yet. But I thought it would be fun to attend in Latin. I mean, my mom's side is Catholic. I don't have anything against Catholics at all. I'm not into the Catholic Protestant thing. At the end of the day, we're all Christians and we're all of the church. But I just, I grew up going to Protestant churches. I'm more comfortable there, Definitely. Better not be picking up any chicks at Mass. I don't know. Yeah, that guy is interesting. The one that was telling me about he's, these, you have to love them. You have to love people. You know what I mean? And I do. I love my church family. Yeah, and I think that too. That's something that that participating in a local church body has given me. It's given me a lot more grace and love for people. Like, when you really just have to accept people like they're your family, you really, it changes you, and it changes you for the better to, not judge people but love them, even though they're a mess. Because anyway, I'm genetically Catholic. That's not a thing. That is not a thing. How offensive. How offensive. Genetically. That's not how it works. I wouldn't be comfortable becoming Catholic anyway. I don't think I agree with some of their stuff. Just, I did consider it before. I was considering it when in 2020, when I started identifying as a Christian again. Hey, you don't talk to me that way. You're just trying to get attention. You don't impress me with that. No, you don't scratch my chair up. You scratching my chair up? Well, okay, but I'm an American and I can be a Protestant here, okay? I don't feel like it, y'all. Why would I go into a situation where I'm not comfortable when I'm perfectly comfortable and content at my church? I grew up going to Protestant churches. I don't feel comfortable in a Catholic church. I don't know what to do. Don't yell at him. Give him some milk. You want some milk, baby? Would you like some milk? Hey, you want some milk? If I gave you milk, would you drink it? Would you lap it up? You want some milk, baby? You want some milk? You baby, you want some baba? Is that what you want? You want to go outside. He went outside this morning, y'all. I let him onto the balcony, and guess what he did? Yes, he jumped over onto the neighbor's balcony. My cat went on the neighbor's balcony. Y'all stop. He is not, y'all want to make him fat. He is not hungry. He is not hungry. Y'all don't know. He's not hungry. He's jealous. He had food before I went live, okay? He's not hungry. He is jealous. I'm not getting him some milk. He's not getting any milk. Hey, you. Nero, look at me. Look at me. Hey. Nero. Hey, look at me. Don't you look over there. You look at me. Hey. Oof. He's ignoring me. You said what you said in jest, but there's truth to it. Oh, you mean about like my Catholic genetics? This comment about, how in Europe I would be Catholic. Terri wants to be comfortable and popular. I mean, I don't really agree with like some of the things that Catholics do. There's certain practices that I don't think are right. Most Catholics think Jesus is God. There's a whole bunch of it like that I'm not into. I think but I also don't judge it harshly. It's just not anything I don't feel moved by it. I feel like God has put me in the right church. There was a time though, like when I came back, that I was considering like going Catholic because it did feel more comfortable to me, like just because I had been all up in the like pagan mess. So I thought like, I can get with this. Maybe this will be a bit more comfortable for me. But then I realized that was, obviously the wrong reason. And it just, God put me in the right church, I didn't go looking, I got pulled in. So, and it's been right. So I just feel like where I'm at is right. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I need to explain it anymore. I'd like to move on from this topic, honestly. Like, I'm not trying to get into all of that. RCIA. Yeah, I've heard of that. That might be an interesting thing to do. I had somebody in my chat who was doing that. Kevin, are you going to take that? Oh my, what am I to do? What time is it? Okay. What do you think, sweetie? He went to sleep. He's laid his little self down, closed his little eyes and put his little head down. He's frustrated with me, y'all. He wants me in bed. He doesn't like me being up late. And I think too, I think it is time to wind down. We've had a fun night though. We delved into Dear Robert Webb. We have one more chapter to get through, and then I can say goodbye to this book. And, you know, Nero had cat meat for dinner. He had a seafood pate. He's exhausted from screaming. He didn't have too much screaming. You weren't screaming too much, just a bit. You just scream a little. I'm not going to burn the book. Maybe I'll put it in the free library, though, in my building. That would be fun. But yeah, thank you for all being here, chatting with me, keeping it fun, live, and funny. But yeah, I hope you all have a good night. I'll see y'all around. Maybe in another chat, maybe on this channel, whenever the spirit moves us, right? Oh, hey, Rome. Speaking of Rome. Oh, now Mr. Mad shows up. Sorry, Mr. Mad, I'm leaving. You missed it. I'm going to go. I'm going to wind down, get my little self to bed. Yeah. See me at church tomorrow. Maybe. I might catch some of the bond service. Sometimes I do catch the tail end of it. But anyway, take care. Good night.